Previously, we did a trial, and now we're gonna do a trial. Right. Okay. So quiet in here. There's not a sound to be heard. Let's be very careful though, Luke. The puzzle we just dealt with is not necessarily the only one in place here. Right you are, Professor. Let's proceed with caution. Oh my god, spook. Is this what I think it is? It looks like a lift. Indeed it does. It looks a lot like the kind of lift with which we are well acquainted. But we haven't seen anything else like this since we've arrived in Labyrinthia. Yes, quite. In truth, I didn't think a machinery of this sort existed here. I wonder what it's using as a source of power. Probably slaves. Well, since there seems to be no other way up, does that mean we get to ride it? Indeed, that would seem to be the most logical course of action. I must say I find the presence of such a device most intriguing. But we can't stand around pondering such things now. There will be time for that later. Onwards and upwards, my boy. Right then, let's go. I know I keep saying this, Luke, but bear in mind that we must proceed with caution. I'm with you on that one, Professor. Professor, we've stopped. What's going on here? It's a puzzle! A stone statue stands before you. Beneath it lies a panel with what appears to have once been a crest of some kind. Now it is a joined-up mess. Move the panels by touching the arrows that connect them, and rearrange the pieces so that the crest is finally displayed. Correctly displayed. Okay. Interesting. Wait, what? Ah, I see, like this. Well, the first turn hasn't really... Well, actually, it doesn't matter. Why is this not doing the thing? Not recognizing my things correctly. There you go. Is that not correct? What do you want, game? Oh, gotta be like that. Okay. Hooray! We did the thing!
Allow me to show you my puzzle-solving skills.
Skills with a
That
C.
was indeed an intriguing puzzle.
Whoa! We started moving again. It would seem this entire lift is in itself another puzzle put in place to protect the thing. I don't believe we're in the clear just yet. This may take a while. Why is the text moving so quickly all of a sudden? Weird. Anyway, another puzzle. Yay! Hooray! Alright. Well, seems like an obvious thing. Extremely difficult. Wow.
Allow me to show you my puzzle-solving skills. That was indeed an intriguing puzzle.
Not really, Layton. Please. Also, the stream is actually really quite a few seconds behind. I'm not gonna read these because they're going by too quick. Alrighty. Well then. There we go.
Allow me to show you my puzzle-solving skills.
That one is actually a
Come
bit
away.
more interesting.
Puzzles are there to be solved. That was an exceedingly difficult puzzle.
No.
The next stop must be our destination.
I think you're probably right, Luke.
Game place.
Well, this is it, Professor.
It seems we have arrived at last.
This reminds me of a scene from Darker Than Black. Good show. Watch it.
Wow, this is certainly different. There are flowers and plants everywhere. I can even see a water wheel over there.
It is a beautiful place.
This evening breeze is a little chilly. So, is this the storyteller's garden then?
I think that's probably a safe assumption, Luke. Judging by the abundance of water and rose bushes, it's being well taken care of. I'd be inclined to say the tower seems more akin to a castle.
Who'd have imagined we'd end up in a beautiful place like this? Let's investigate.
I quite like Maya's voice actress. Amazingly, it appears the structure was recently adorned with flowers and kept in rather good repair. I bet Isabella sure must have had quite a comfortable life back when she used to live here. This must be where the water that surrounds the tower is turning to mist, right, Professor? I wonder if this is what's creating a veil of mist over the garden. What he just said. Fucking... Also I'm still having a cold, naturally, so I will be sniffling throughout. Where's that fucking thing? There we go. This building is really something else. I guess this part must be the storyteller's house. Isabella must have lived here when she was younger. Yes, indeed. This must have been her family home. Family. I wonder if she had any plans to ever come back here. No matter where she goes or what she does, family's family. This will always be her home. I'd say it's highly likely that she would wish to come back here someday. Suppose so, even if her family was only the two of them. The relationship between Espella and her father may well prove to be an important clue. I was thinking the same thing. Huh? What's the matter, Luke? It's nothing, I'm probably seeing things. For a moment there, I thought I saw something moving at the top of the tower. Sorry, it must have been just my imagination. Let's go inside, Professor. Question mark? This appears to be a child's room. Certainly looks that way. From its condition, I'd say it hasn't been used for some time. Presumably, it was used by Espella as a child. Right, so this is where Espella grew up. Something pretty big must have happened to make her leave home so young. I wonder how Espella and the storyteller used to get on together. Espella is a young lady of strong conviction and a kind heart. I'm certain that's because she grew up with a fine home environment. In other words, I'm sure she and her father must have spent some quality time here together. Yeah, I have a feeling you're right about that. For Espella, this place must be full of precious memories. I almost feel like we're intruding, coming in here like this. But Luke, we have no choice if we wish to save Espella. I suppose that's true. When you put it like that, I guess she wouldn't mind even if she knew. Crikey. Professor, behind that curtain, there's someone there. Nope. Mysterious figure turned out to be just a doll. Phew, that's a relief. My heart was in my mouth. Bella must have played with this doll as a child. Huh? This. Look, Professor, there's a child's picture book here. The title is The First Story. It would appear to be handmade a children's book. I wonder if it was written especially for Espella. It may well have been. Evidently, a great deal of loving care has been put into the writing and illustrations. There was a bad witch in the town. All of the carts in the field disappeared and all the money in the bank was turned into pumpkins. People of the town had to put up with all kinds of mischief from the witch. They didn't know what to do. Then one day, a brave young girl appeared and said to the townsfolk, "When the witch uses witchcraft, she always uses a big stick, doesn't she? So if we take away her stick, we'll be able to stop her." After hearing this, the people of the town set a trap for the witch and managed to capture her. At her trial, the bad witch said this to the people. "Even now, the legendary Great Witch Bizella is living here in this town. Bizella is the queen of all the witches. She is the one who gives us witches life." Townsfolk punished the witch, and peace was restored to the town once more. To this day, Bizella is still hiding somewhere in the town. But the brave townsfolk will not be beaten by the bad witches. Who'd have thought there would be a fairy tale about Bizella? He's a mysterious character, alright. Tell me, Luke, why do you think the author chose to write a book about Bizella in a children's picture book? Huh? Well, maybe to make their child behave? Something like if you don't do as you're told, Bizella will come and get you. Yes, indeed, that is a possibility. Still, I have to wonder, why is it that some lowly witch was caught and not the great witch Bizella herself? Well, I suppose it is a bit strange. If Bizella herself had been caught, the story could have been brought to a more conclusive ending. You think there's some other reason? Certainly a possibility. I don't suppose there are any other handmade picture books in the room apart from this one. Handmade picture books. I don't see any. I guess that must be the only one. Which would imply this book has some special significance. I guess so. After all, it is handmade. I bet she really treasured it. Do you think it was the storyteller who wrote this book? Handwriting does seem very similar to that of the story. This book appears to have been written with a touch of more care and attention, but I imagine it was the storyteller who wrote it. He must have written it as a gift from father to daughter. That actually seems really thoughtful, even if the story itself is a little scary. I'd like to take this book to Isabella. Yes, let's do just that, Luke. We must take good care of it. There were lots of shenanigans, as usual. The paintings on the wall certainly give this room a rather charming feel. Painting sure does make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, doesn't it, Professor? I believe we've seen all there is to see here. Let's press on, Luke. What do you make of this room, Professor? It's not very tidy. This appears to be the very top room of the tower. Parchment lying on the floor here seems very similar to the type in which the storyteller writes his stories. I think we can say with some certainty that this is the storyteller's room. Huh? This is the storyteller's room? I was imagining something a bit grander, like a throne room, with all kinds of plush decorations. While I agree that it is a little eccentric, it's unmistakably the study of an author. He probably spent all his time in here, continuously writing those stories. The stories. I wonder what Isabella thought of it all. Her father writing stories for all the townsfolk, I mean. I wonder if she looked forward to seeing the new stories completed, or if she... The stories were probably a little too mature in content for a young child. I don't imagine the storyteller would have shown Isabella many of them. But in that case, surely she can't have had many opportunities to even talk to her father, given how busy he was. I guess that means she was pretty lonely. It must have been hard for her, even knowing how important those stories are for the people of the town. But I don't think it's right. No child should be unable to talk with their own father. I absolutely agree, Luke. I believe it will be important in the upcoming trial to have an understanding of Isabella's feelings towards her father. Professor, knowing you, Luke, I'm sure you must have a lot of things on your mind at the moment. If there's anything at all you want to talk about, you will tell me, won't you? Of course, Professor. I'm always ready to listen, Luke. Now then, shall we start investigating this room? Papers are strewn about the floor. Strange. Doesn't appear as if they've been written on. I know it sounds a bit silly, but let's try not to trample all over these papers, okay, Professor? From the looks of this room, it appears the storyteller is quite a talented artist. Something about this room really makes it feel a lot like this professor's study. Wow, there sure is quite a bit of light coming through that stained glass window, huh? I wonder if this is actually the topmost part of the tower. Look, Professor, a photograph. Wait, I didn't think they even have photographs in this town. Indeed, it's not the kind of thing one would have expected to find here. Too right. I certainly haven't seen any cameras about since we got here. There's no doubt about that this is a photo, though. What could that mean? Maybe in some way related to the tower being so closely protected. Have you seen the photograph, Luke? There are two children, both young girls. The photos look quite old. The photo looks quite old, doesn't it? I wonder who they are. I have no idea. Well, one of them is surely a Spella. There can be little doubt about that. Hey, you're right. And look at that pendant. It's the same one Spella always wears. The fact that she's continued to wear it ever since shows just how important that pendant must be to her. What about this other girl? Do you think she's a friend of Isbella's? Indeed, I'd wager the two of them were rather close friends at that. They do look pretty chummy, alright. See, they even have the same pendant. A glimpse into Isbella's past. It may well prove to be an important clue. I would like to ask her about it face to face. Let's borrow it for the time being. I wonder if there are any other clues knocking about. Well, let's say there's something that you thought you saw moving earlier is a point worth pursuing. But isn't this the last room in the tower? I must have just been imagining things. Not necessarily, Luke. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a way of getting beyond even this room. Let's look around more closely. Right you are, Professor. Ah, this is... What is it, Luke? This letter on top of the piano. This was evidence during that trial. That trial, my boy? Yes, the trial about Sir Belduke's death. The trial when you were... Ah, you mean when it was turned to gold. In which case, this letter is the one that... The storyteller's owl, Hoot, gave us after we'd last paid him a visit. Well, yes it is, but that letter was completely blank, wasn't it? Indeed it was. It was meant to be Sir Belduke's suicide note, which he'd addressed to the storyteller. His suicide note, you'd say? But Sir Belduke's butler swapped the letter for some plain sheets of parchment before it got delivered, and those blank sheets were given to us by Mr. Hoot, who knew something strange about them. I see. I certainly missed out on some intriguing developments during my absence. The real suicide note was revealed at the trial, but how has it ended up here? Well, I imagine that's quite simple, Luke. It's likely that after the trial finished, the letter was returned to its rightful owner. It was addressed to the storyteller, after all. Right, I guess that does make sense. I suppose the storyteller finally had a chance to actually read it then. Yes. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that he most likely did so very recently. Perhaps even today, while sitting at the piano. What on earth was going through his mind here before the final parade? There's something we are not seeing here, Luke. We need to investigate this closely. What could it be? Surely this is not a trap of some kind. It's unlikely that a trap would be so obvious. Just a moment. Some kind of puzzle in this piano. Oh my god. And I'm gonna blow my nose. Okay. Below the stained glass window is written, "When the stars have aligned, the goddess shall pluck her harp, bringing forth her serene song. Rearrange the musical notes to create a lovely melody." Okay. I see now. Okay. Ah, boy. a certain... Yes. Hmm. Too bad I can't pause it. Right. God damn it. There's only one that I'm not sure. Maybe? Where's that one flashing red? I know. Weird. Maybe
I've
it'll lead it.
already seen the answer.
Yep, there we go. Got
the
it.
Joy of solving puzzles.
Oh.
Look, Professor! A stairway just appeared. Could there be another room above this one?
I have a feeling that the rooftop we saw from the garden continues above here.
Oh, I can see what you mean, Professor. It's really dark in here. But moonlight seems to be coming in from up above.
Well, there's no turning back now. The answer to the biggest mystery of all is surely waiting for us ahead.
I think so too, Professor. I wonder what on earth it could be.
The next step in the storyteller's story, if I'm not mistaken.
The next step? But the story has already finished, hasn't it?
Not yet, Luke. It's still a little too soon for the ending.
Amgerd, he didn't die.
I had a feeling that you, of all people, would make it this far.
It's you!
I thought so. You are still alive.
Professor Layton, I've had enough of your running around, flagrantly contravening the flow of my story. As such, I can no longer ignore your meddling.
Professor!
Thank you, my boy.
Oh boy. All that the storyteller writes is destined to come true. Your opponent's attacks are no exception. Memorize the storyteller's tale and deflect your opponent's predetermined moves. Enemy knights will appear in accordance with the storyteller's tale. Memorize the order of their attacks and deflect them using the knight's own moves against them. I'm afraid your role in this story ends here, Professor. Now allow me to write the tale of your demise. The knight drew his blade. As the battle came to a close, he raised his blade overhead and delivered the finishing blow. Oh boy, I don't have that at all. Jesus Christ. I'm so bad at this. I think it's first this, and this, maybe? Nope. Okay. Right. This is gonna be embarrassing. Well played, Professor, but how will he fare in this tragic tale? The new knight stepped in for his fallen comrade. He slashed quickly, delivering 3 blows before finishing the battle with a 3-hit combination attack. Whirly thing. Slash thing slash whirly hit, maybe? I don't know. Completely wrong. Oh my god. Okay. Right, got it now. Think you worked it out, don't you? Do you? Let us see if we can predict the ending of this final chapter. Final Knight drew his sword. As he attacked, he began to vanish into thin air. His movements wailed in the embrace of the shadows. Ah, fuck. I completely forgot everything again. Probably? Nope. Everything is wrong. Okay. Slash burly down stab. Okay. So. There you go. Ah, Jesus.
Let's see if I've proven myself.
I am terrible at these, I know.
Puzzles are there to be solved.
Embarrassingly so.
Professor, behind you!
Dark Souls.mp3. MP4, sorry.
Professor!
Nah, it's gonna be fine.
Professor!
Well, now, that was close.
Yeah.
Storyteller, I'm afraid that the power of your pen is no longer absolute.
You never fail to impress me, Professor Layton. Just tell me one thing. What exactly are you trying to achieve?
You could say, I'm trying to lift the veil that hangs over the town.
If that is indeed the case, the answer lies in the final story. This very evening, the great witch Vizela will be tried, and all stories will end. You should take your place in the gallery and observe the final trial.
Permit me, if I may, to ask you a question, Mr. Storyteller. Why is it that you are here.
What?
You too should be watching in the gallery, watching as your twisted story unfolds.
My twisted story? What do you mean by that?
You must surely be aware that your story has already become twisted. Take our arrival in this town, for instance. Not to mention our being here at this very moment. Neither of these things could have happened in the story you wrote. In other words, what I am saying is that you are no longer the weaver of the tale.
It is as you say. The story I crafted has indeed been twisted out of proportion by someone else's actions. I'm not surprised that you realize it seems nothing passes by those sharp eyes unnoticed. That is exactly why I decided to write the grand finale, to prevent any further distortion. You mean to suggest that by ending the story, you could return this town to its original state? To its original state, you say? I'm afraid that is not the case. The entire truth behind Labyrinthia is sealed by a single spell. That's right, the final spell. Final spell, you say? When that spell is invoked, Labyrinthia's true form will become clear to all. What kind of spell is that? It is a spell that has always been hidden within plain view. What's that supposed to mean? Essentially, the final spell is concealed at the start. Final spell is concealed at the start? Are we in a Metal Gear game? I thought you two took it upon yourselves to unravel mysteries, do you not? Do what you will with it. Very well. Now then, I believe there's just one thing that you may wish to hear from me. And what would that be? Firstly, what would you say if I told you that this twisting of your story is leading towards a grand finale quite different to the one you had planned? What do you mean? This evening, you supposedly gave up your life to the Great Witch Bezella, did you not? As a result, the person who thought to be Bezella is being tried in court at this very moment. Now, if you'll permit me to ask, do you happen to know the name of the accused? Naturally, I wrote the name myself, there can be no question. Of course, the name of the accused is Bella Cannabella. What? You mean... what? Yes, the accused at this evening's trial is none other than Isabella. That can't be. That's preposterous. It's your doing. What have you done, Layton? You ask me what I've done, Mr. Storyteller, but I'm about a solver of puzzles and mysteries. I do not concern myself with scheming. Why, Isabella, why, how is she accused? Perhaps you ought to go and see for yourself, Mr. Storyteller. You think it's a good idea to just stand here lamenting your daughter's fate? What's to be done? Well, Mr. Storyteller, I will be returning to the court. I'd like to witness this grand finale with my own eyes. Ah yes, before I leave, there's just one thing I'd like to make clear. I do not intend to simply take my place in the gallery and observe the trial. Naturally, there is only one place for me to stand in order to unravel all of those mysteries. You mean to say that you will stand as the defender? Ha ha ha. Unfortunately, the defender's position is already taken. Moreover, Mr. Storyteller, I'm the one who knows the truth. True identity of the Great Witch Bezella, that is. How can you know? There's only one place at which I should stand in order to assert such a fact, and that is not on the side of the defense. Surely you can't mean. I anticipate seeing you again soon, Mr. Storyteller. Whoa, wowie zowie. Them plot twists and all that. It's finally coming together. Alright. Hold on for a sec. I gotta check my emails. Because there's an important thing that needs to happen for a report I need to write. And I don't know if it has happened, so I need to check. Excuse me for a sec while I do this. Okay, gotta write an email real quick. Hopefully not gonna take too long. Where is it? Hello, Bardic. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Human-computer interaction metaphors. Alright, it's done. Oh boy. Hold on. Read chat. People still play Pokemon Go? I thought that died like a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, back to the game. Video games. Court is now open once again in session. However, I must say I'm quite surprised at this recent turn of events. You see Miss Kira at the witness stand once again. Frankly, I cannot believe my eyes. You were most certainly sent to the flames as a witch. That's right, I was there, saw it. What? Enough. Enough. Link, my boy. A witch must be in possession of Italia Magica in order to use magic. I hate to disappoint you all, but do you see such a thing on her person? I think not. But she must have... That girl must have used Imeri. Surely you can see that. Imeri is a spell that able to make someone disappear from sight. It cannot make one vanish entirely. And besides, an investigation conducted by the Knights of the Inquisition has concluded that this girl is not capable of using magic. Listen well, Miss Kira. Your existence alone jeopardizes the very place of Labyrinthia, yet given the current situation, it is now imperative that you testify to this court regarding what you saw immediately. That will not be necessary. What? This girl has already been convicted and tried as a witch in the previous trial. What good could come of her testimony?
Objection!
But she was found hiding at the crime scene. I'd say that makes her a very important witness whose testimony we cannot choose to ignore. High Inquisitor Edgelaw, I'm afraid your objection is overruled. You wish to proceed then? Very well. Let us see just how much of her story this girl is willing to tell to the court, shall we? There's no doubt about it. Miss Kira must have escaped through the passage leading on her chamber of fire. Although, from the looks of it, the judge doesn't have a clue the escape route even exists. I wish he'd hurry up and get the hint. I'm dying to take this helmet off already. Top of my head really itches. Sorry, Maya, take that thing off now and we're good as done. Just hang in there a little while longer. Ah. Very well. Witness, you may now begin your testimony. Explain to the court how you are standing here in court today and why you were hiding at the crime scene. Both at once. I'm not familiar with this Kira you keep talking about. I came from the Eldritch Woods. Came to this town to summon forth the fire dragon and kill the storyteller. As it rained, I waited near the bell tower next to the vigilantes for a chance. I was only there to carry out my orders. I don't know anything else outside of that. You came here to kill the storyteller? Yep, that was my task.
Objection!
Keep in mind, this girl was not the one who summoned the fire dragon in the end. That was the accused. And we know this because...
Objection!
Now hold on, she was still present at the scene of the crime with the intent to murder the storyteller. Defense insists we be permitted to continue with our cross-examination on these grounds. Edgelaw is really trying to weasel her way out of this cross-examination. That means there has to be something here. Ah. I must admit, I too am extremely interested in hearing what this witness has to say. Defender, you may begin your interrogation. Ent coin!
Hold it!
Miss Kira, who exactly gave you your orders? Nuts. I cannot say. And why is that? I'm not to disclose the identity of the one who has given me orders. That in itself is an order. How convenient. I'm only supposed to carry out my orders, nothing more. I do not know anything else, and besides, there is nothing more that I can really do. Nothing more she can do. But hold on just a minute, surely you are capable of using magic. You are a witch, are you not? I am not a witch. What? I cannot use magic. He can't use magic? This girl is a witch. Every person in this courtroom knows that as a matter of fact. There can be nary a doubt. Just put it to the test, you know. Doesn't look like there's much to work with. Even though she just finished explaining everything, I still don't fully understand. Oh man, Nick, you don't think this Kira is actually some sort of crazy magical zombie, do you? Maya, you went through the same thing as Kira. Did you become a magical zombie? Oh yeah, I guess not, huh? Luke and I couldn't believe it was Kira when we ran into her at the marketplace. I mean, we thought for sure she was a goner back at the trial. I don't think I'm far off, though. This Kira is way different than the old one. It looks like she doesn't remember a thing. She's almost like another person entirely. But what if it's just it, Maya? What if the Kira right here, right now, is the real Kira and the old Kira wasn't? The real Kira, huh? Yeah, and that's why I think I'm bound to find something useful. You can do this, Nick. Hope you're ready to slam dunk on some fucking desks. Get ready for the slam jam.
Hold it!
Hold it right there, Miss Kira. You snuck right past the vigilantes. That's right. The girl is a witch. Therefore, something as simple as vanishing from sight is child's play, isn't that right? Yes, that is correct. Aha! I remember now. Just a few days ago, this girl used that very vanishing spell. Demare, if memory serves. Well, what are you gawking at, witness? Continue with your testimony. What was that just now? I could have sworn I just saw Kira's face turn even paler than normal. Wait a second, there's something not right about this testimony. It's just a hunch, but what should I do? Naturally, press further. Miss Kira, I have one simple question for you. You stated earlier in your testimony that you snuck past the vigilantes guarding the bell tower and went right inside. Tell me, did you use that spell Demare to get by them? That must certainly be the case. Had she not, she would have certainly been spotted.
Objection!
But remember what she let slip just a moment or two ago. She denied being a witch and stated she cannot use magic. Therefore, if that's true, then you, Miss Kira, would not have been able to use Demare at all.
Objection!
What a ridiculous argument. How else would this girl have been able to walk right into the bell tower unnoticed by the guards? Explain
Objection!
that. I have a better idea. How about we have the witness herself explain it to you? What do you say, bitch? I am not a witch. And I cannot use magic. So then, exactly how were you able to ascend the bell tower without being noticed? Witness, amend your testimony this instant. Okay. What's going on? There's got to be another way she got into the bell tower unseen, but other than magic, I have no idea what that could be. I was wearing the robe of invisibility, so no one is able to see me there.
Objection!
There was in fact a robe dropped and left at the crime scene tonight. A robe? Is Kira that robe of invisibility that you mentioned earlier wouldn't happen to be this one right here, would it?
Objection!
How ludicrous. Are you trying to tell the court that that is the robe of invisibility? If it's really a robe of invisibility, then how is it we can see it right now? Because it's fucking covered in flower dust. Stupid cunts. So, are you amazed yet? Yeah, I'm amazed at how totally ridiculously... You looking at. Hey, what gives? This thing must be busted or something. I didn't disappear at all. Well, that's not it. No. Tonight, at the bell tower, I was wearing that robe. What? Shut the fuck up. But how is that possible? The rope did not disappear at all just now. That's because of the white powder on it. It's usually not that dirty. Oh, you mean these spots here? Oh yeah, Patty totally unloaded an entire bag of flour on these nights, remember? Not to mention it was still raining when we were up there. The flour must have gotten nice and wet, so it stained the robe. Say, what if we try washing the flour off? Yeah, dude, there's plenty of DLC for handheld games and stuff. Like, Nintendo has been cracking up on fucking DLC shit. There's DLC for every stupid fucking shit. There's a small water fountain at the edge of the square. Head there right now and wash the robe that we get to the bottom of this. The Fire Emblem games also have loads and loads of DLC. Alright, this shouldn't be too hard. Take notes, Nick. This is how you do the laundry. See, all you have to do is throw the robe into the water, like so. Wait, what? So, do you see anything? That's just it. I don't see a thing. It disappeared. What? It's almost like it's an invisibility robe, like we expected it to be. But I'm so taken aback. I haven't played the DLC for Dual Destinies. Ender. Also, isn't it dual as in two, not dual as in fucking Yu-Gi-Oh? Because there's two destinies in the fucking game? You cunts. What is the meaning of this? How could you have lost such a vital piece of evidence? Your Honor, it wasn't on purpose. Trust me, I wish I knew how it happened. I don't quite know what you're talking about. I can still see that robe just fine. Huh? Look, it's right here, see? No, I really don't fucking see. So, is that how it works? Putting the robe on makes you disappear completely from sight, but from the looks of it, only Kira is able to actually see the robe itself. It's not just me, it's all inhabitants of the Eldritch Woods. All of us can see the robe. The Eldritch Woods. Our village lies deep within the recesses of that forest, in a world much different from this one. That's where I live. As long as we obey the law of the land, we are allowed to live there. I knew it. There is definitely something different about Kira compared to the rest of the townspeople. Bardic, please just disregard everything that Anon, also called Fup Soup here, says, because his taste in anything is absolute garbage. And that is a well-established and widely known fact that pretty much everyone agrees on. So really, just ignore anything he says because it's gonna be garbage. For the time being, seeing as only the witness can see the robe, we will cover it in flour again for the sake of visibility. But there's still only one tiny thing that bothers me. Miss Kira, your robe was found on the middle of the floor of the bell tower, the same floor where we found my client. However, you were hiding on the uppermost level of the bell tower. You testified a little while ago that you dropped your rope, but I have to wonder, what exactly were you doing on that top floor? It would seem there is still much we must ask this witness. What say you? Et-tu brute? It is the Inquisition's duty to follow my lord's decision on such matters. I have no objections. Very well. Witness, you are hereby ordered to continue with your testimony. Tell us what happened between your sneaking up on the top floor of the bell tower and tonight's most terrible crime. Yeah, sure, whatever. I was waiting on the middle floor of the tower. I started to turn around, but I was too late. He attacked me from behind. There was nothing I could do. My arm was restrained, and the attacker covered my mouth. As I struggled to get away, I think I managed to pull something out of the off of my attacker. That's when I lost consciousness. I woke up to find myself next to the bell on the top floor of the tower. Witness, are you saying someone attacked you while you were in the bell tower? Yep, for shizzle. But who? I don't know. They attacked me from behind, so I couldn't see who it was. So you were unconscious the entire time after that. That's why I was unable to complete my mission. But even if I hadn't been unconscious, I couldn't have done anything trapped high up in the belfry like that. I wonder if that weird contraption we found there was used to move Kira up to the belfry. At least, I can't see any other way she could have gotten up there. You heard the witness. She was locked up in the belfry to the tower. In other words, she couldn't have had anything to do with tonight's events. Therefore, there is no need.
Objection!
There is at least one downloadable game that has the first 3 games. So like the very first Ace Attorney, Justice for All, and what was the other one? Whatever. Just the first 3 are available as a single game to download. Not so fast. The witness also testified that someone attacked her tonight. And are you implying that this attacker could have been Bezella? Yeah, Trial and Tribulation. Right, that's the name. I cannot say for certain, Your Honor. Regardless, the defense requests we be allowed to cross-examine this witness. Request granted. Now then, defender, you may begin your interrogation. And here's where the fun begins. Let's see if we can coax this mysterious second witch out of hiding. Hint coins. Yeah, but on the iOS they use the fucking new graphics that look like fucking garbage. What exactly did you pull off? I was still really dazed at the time, so I can't remember it very well, but when I flung my hand up, I felt myself grab a small round object. I must have pulled it off without thinking. I felt whatever it was snap right off. So from what you're saying, it sounds like this could have been something that was on your attacker's person. I think so. I can still feel it, even now. It felt like I'd just snapped a piece of rope or something. I really wonder what that could have been. I think I would recognize the shape if I saw it. Oh my god, if only we knew what it was.
Objection!
Yes, Kira, you stated that you felt yourself snap something off of your attacker. Would that thing by any chance be this right here? Oh. That's it. I recognize that shape. That was the object I grabbed. What you say? What you say? Not quite, Your Honor. There are actually two pendants like this. The one you can see here is the counterpart to Miss Cannabella's pendant. Now that you mention it, I remember the necklace was actually very tough. It really didn't rip right off so easily. So I struggled against it, tugging and pulling at it for a bit, and I must have scratched your neck in the process. Wait a second, you mean you scratched your attacker's neck? I think so, but I don't know for sure. In that case, means the dark stuff on the red necklace could be... yeah, it could be the attacker's blood. Spooky. As the court can clearly see, there are still traces of blood left on the necklace itself. However, take one good look at my client and you'll notice there are no visible scars or cuts of any kind around her neck. Ergo, there is no way Miss Cannabella could be Miss Kira's attacker.
Objection.
Nice try. Huh? Have you already forgotten? When I told you the Great Witch can use any spell in existence, she could have easily healed any such wound in the blink of an eye. I don't believe I'm saying this, but I already miss Inquisitor Barnum. Man, we really can't catch a break in this one, huh? Let's resume the interrogation. Nobody fucking cares whether you get your fucking dick hard, Anon. Shut the fuck up. Witness, continue with your testimony.
Objection!
Whoops. Apparently that wasn't interesting. I goofed.
Objection!
Alright, now see. Derp. It's clear there's something a little strange about your testimony just now, wouldn't you say? Huh? You stated that you were attacked from behind and the attacker grabbed you by the wrist. Yeah. Assuming that was in fact the case, then I'd say no matter how much you struggled, there's no way you would have been able to yank off this pendant, wouldn't you think? The strap on this pendant is too short. There's no way you could have reached behind you and managed to pull it off. That's a good point. Miss Kira, the only way you would have been able to yank this pendant off of your attacker is if they were standing directly in front of you. Order, I say. Witness, this is true.
Objection.
One thing that drove me insane about Apollo Justice was how fucking often they used that fucking stupid ass song, like the one where she chants in the background or whatever. Like they played it over 1 trillion times. And I was so goddamn sick of it when they played it over and over and over again. The witness was the victim of a physical attack. It's only natural that she'd be a bit confused on some of the details. High Inquisitor, I wouldn't exactly call mistaking the location of the attacker being a bit confused. I call it more of a barefaced lie. Well now, Defender, I see you are pathetically short-sighted as ever. Your argument is only valid, assuming that the girl actually saw the attacker. If she was not able to see this person, well, I'd say it made no difference where they were standing. Then that means the attacker was also wearing one of those robes? That is impossible, my lord. As the witness already stated earlier, only residents of the Eldritch Woods are able to see the robe. In short, the attacker must have been a witch and must have disappeared from sight with the use of magic. I tried to play Investigations too, but the fucking stupid ass goddamn fucking judge and fucking defense idiot fucking pissed me off so much just thinking about them. I couldn't finish it. It drove me insane. Anyway, there's one more thing proving the attacker to be a witch. And just what might that be? Witness has stated that she lost consciousness. If you take a look in the Grand Grimoire, you will notice a spell called Blindfold. Witness, allow me to ask you, did you hear the incantation of this spell? Now that you mention it, I do remember hearing something like that. Hey, what? Yes, those fuckers. The best. And Courtney. Especially Courtney, though. God damn. Here it is. Painful causes those who hear the incantation to lose all consciousness. You must not forget, the Great Witch can use any and all magic at will. Witness, amend your testimony. Oh boy. But still, I'm not able to give up just yet. I'll keep on going.
Objection!
Miss Kira, I have watched yet that witness stand this entire trial, desperately trying to keep something hidden from the rest of the court. I wonder if you're familiar with the saying, a lie begets more lies. It means multiple lies are bound to unravel and leave your story with more holes than Swiss cheese. Get to the point. According to the Grand Grimoire, a faint fall causes a person to lose all consciousness, written here in black and white. Its effect takes hold the second the incantation is heard. Miss Kara, you testified as follows. You heard the incantation for Faintfall and immediately became aware of the presence of your attacker. You then put up a fight. But if you really did hear that incantation, there's no way you would have been able to yank that pendant from your assailant. Yeah? Order! What is the meaning of this? The meaning is that Miss Kira didn't actually hear the incantation like she claims she did. Then why? I know if was this girl unconscious. Kira was definitely knocked out by whoever attacked her, and when she woke up, she found herself on the top floor of the bell tower. It's possible Miss Kira was rendered unconscious by... Fucking beat her on the head? I don't know. The answer here is obvious. Something other than magic must have knocked her out.
Objection.
Maybe not. And what, may I ask, makes you so certain of that? Is it not possible that another spell could have been used?
Objection!
That's just not possible. You of all people should know that. What? Miss Kara's claim that you heard someone say the incantation is completely false. Even so, that wouldn't be too much of a problem if she actually had heard an incantation. That's right. However, going by her testimony, that can't have been the case. The only spell capable of making someone lose consciousness is Faintful. Isn't that right? Defender, are you claiming there is another way besides magic that could have been used to render Miss Kira unconscious? There's only one other thing that crossed my mind. Speaking, of course, about sleeping medicine. Sleeping medicine? If you remember, Miss Kira stated that the attacker covered her mouth before she could scream. In doing that, the attacker was able to administer a potent sleep medicine, thus putting Miss Kira out like a light. Indeed, that does make sense. Therefore, Your Honor, the attacker did not necessarily have to be Vizela. I mean, why would an all-powerful being capable of commanding any and all magic need to resort to drugging someone?
Objection!
Hold it right there, Defender. They managed to sneak past the guards and make their way up into the bell tower. Clearly, they must have used magic to appear invisible.
Objection!
You don't need magic to make yourself disappear. Throw this on, and getting past those guards at the bell tower is a piece of cake. But despite all that, there's still one glaring problem. Miss Kira. Yeah? You admitted to the court earlier that you were attacked from the front, correct? If that's the case, then there's only one possible conclusion we can draw. You, Miss Kira, were entirely capable of seeing your attacker's face. Why is that? I don't... Simple, you even said it yourself. Only residents of the Elwich Woods are able to see this robe. That means, Miss Kira, there is a piece of this puzzle only you could possibly know. Only you can tell us the identity of the person who entered the bell tower and attacked you tonight. I can't tell you. No matter what happens, I just can't tell you no matter what. How about I tell you then? You see, everyone this witness has been covering up for someone from the very start of this trial. What? But luckily for us, we won't be needing any more of Miss Kira's testimony, because the answer is staring us right in the face. I'm speaking, of course, about the true identity of Miss Kira's attacker. All the clues so far point to this one person. Fender, I take it you are prepared to prove such a serious accusation. I am. Alright, looks like it all comes down to this. Very well, Defender, tell the court who was the attacker. Oh my god. The answer is obvious, Your Honor. It was you, High Inquisitor Edgelaw, and your coat tits. What? Order! What? I must say, Defender, your courage is impressive, however reckless you may be. Accusing a High Inquisitor is no small... What do you mean, a High Inquisitor? There's only one. I assure you. However, with serious accusations come serious consequences. One small misstep, and I will personally see that you never step foot in this courtroom ever again. Mark my words, Defender. Well, I don't care, this is the last trial ever, so, you know. I understand. How convenient. Let us see if that confidence of yours is well justified. Miss Kira's attacker drugged her with sleep medicine. It likely took no more than a few seconds for her to lose consciousness. Medicine must have been very potent. True. After all, its effects appear somewhat similar to magic. There's only one person I can think of in all of Labyrinthia who could possibly supply you with that kind of medicine. Sir Newton Belduke.
Objection!
Defender, you are aware that Sir Belduke has been deceased for over 3 months now, are you not? That's a fact I'm well aware of, believe me. While he was still alive, Sir Belduke provided the citizens of this town with a variety of medicines for whatever ailed them. But it wasn't all just medicine, he also created some very dangerous concoctions. That's why, after he passed away, all of his medicines and creations were confiscated. Confiscated? Inquisitor Barnum said as much in the last witch trial. The victim was an alchemist, after all. We were hoping the items confiscated from his study could provide some clues. Besides, such things must not fall into the wrong hands. May not be standard practice, but it was deemed necessary. Confiscated goods are stored in our secret vaults. The only person with access to them is the High Inquisitor. Ah.
Objection!
So, because I have access to the medicine, I must have been the one that used it. Is that what you're getting at, Defender? That's right. Unfortunately for you, I would hardly call that proof. You said it yourself. Sir Baldy concocted a plethora of dangerous medicines in his efforts to assist the people of the town. He was well known for his fact, a fact he had no doubt was not too pleased with. As such, it is highly likely that those same dangerous substances are still scattered throughout the town. And therefore, Defender, it is entirely possible that the culprit was able to get their hands on such dangerous medicine. Indeed. Long as Sir Belduk's medicine played an active part in maintaining the health of this town's citizens, there is plenty of reason to believe some of his more dangerous medicines still remain within Labyrinthia. A piece of advice, Defender, the next time you speak in court, I recommend you try procuring some real evidence before spouting such idiotic accusations. If you fail to do so, your next words will be uttered to the flames. Figures. I know she wouldn't take that argument sitting down. Both High Inquisitor Darkla and Inquisitor Barnum are the very harbingers of justice within Labyrinthia. Raising such an accusation against either of one of them without valid reason will result in the most severe of punishments. What does she mean by the most severe? What does he mean by the most severe of punishments? I think the judge is saying that if I don't start making a case, we're gonna be paying Sir Belduk a visit real soon. I need to present some decisive evidence and fast. I'm pretty sure I should be able to do that much. High Inquisitor Darklaw is the attacker, and the one thing that proves it is... well, both in evidence and Darklaw herself, but I'm gonna go with this. If Fence believes there is one clue here linking Inquisitor Darklaw to the crime. High Inquisitor, that clue is actually still on you right now. On me? Touch his neck, and no, just don't notice me touching my neck. That's not. I must admit, I do not know where you're going with this, Defender, but please point out this clue to the court. Show us this clue. The clue is the Contets. They are a danger to the state. Can I fucking do the neck thing?
Got it!
The High Inquisitor's neck? You don't mean... Miss Kira yanked this pen enough of her attacker's neck. Take a look at the necklace. It still has a bit of blood left on it. According to her earlier testimony, when Miss Kira pulled at the necklace, she supposedly felt herself scratch the attacker's neck. Is that correct? Yep. Therefore, the attacker should still have a mark on their neck from having been scratched. Oh, would you mind letting the court take a look at your neck? I'm pretty sure that underneath that high collar, we'll find exactly the mark we're looking for. Unless, of course, you were able to get rid of it with magic. How about you? Most impressive. What? I have to say, Defender, you've managed to finally hone that dull blade of yours into something of use. You're correct, there is in fact a mark on my neck that I did receive tonight. You what? What's the meaning of this? Does that mean... Your Honor. I see you're still here, Defender. Your Honor, I know you're shocked and everything, but come on, work with me here. Your Honor, the defense would like to call High Inquisitor Darklaw, Edgelord, to the witness stand. What? It's quite clear that the High Inquisitor has some connection to what transpired tonight, and what's more, there is a chance that she used her position of authority as High Inquisitor to frame my client as the Great Witch. But never in all my years as judge of this court has an Inquisitor been asked to take the stand in the middle of a trial. Well, we're going to have to make some history here if we're finally going to find the truth, Your Honor. Even so, this trial cannot continue any further without an Inquisitor. Hey, in that case, how about you get Inquisitor Barnum? Inquisitor Barnum remains incarcerated in the underground dungeons for the crime of treason against the storyteller. I don't think he will be able to make it to this party. No way! Most regrettable, Defender. This whole thing is hopeless. Unless High Inquisitor Darklaw takes to the witness stand, Espella will be done for, and the truth along with her. But on the other hand, without an Inquisitor on the other side, the trial can't continue and the outcome would end up the same. What should I do?
Hold it! I believe I can fill that role.
Professor, wait, what are you saying?
I can prove, conclusively, that Espella Cantabella is, in fact, the Great Witch Bazella.
Huh?
Now, Mr. Wright, the time has come at last to settle this once and for all.
We've been waiting for the professor to show up.
This is the best theme in all of the world.
If there was anyone who could find some decisive evidence to win this thing, it was him. However, he ended up standing behind the Inquisitor's bench. The professor wasn't on our side here. I had to wonder, what the heck was going to happen?
Just say hell, man. Just say hell. Heck sounds so dumb. Whenever I hear someone say heck, it makes me think that they're fucking some kind of kid that's too afraid of their parents being mad at them for saying fuck or hell. So they're using heck. And then they look sideways real scared, as if it's so bad to use an insult.
Professor? But what are you doing?
What am I doing, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, you were supposed to show up with some decisive evidence and save the day, Professor.
Plus, actually, you don't have a real, standing as an Inquisitor, so you can't really take the position of one. I mean, there has to be some kind of certificate you have to be an Inquisitor, but whatever.
I'm afraid my only concern here is the truth.
The truth?
The truth behind the real identity of the Great Witch, Espella Cantabella. If seeking the truth requires us to stand on opposite sides of the courtroom, then so be it. I expect you to defend Miss Cantabella with everything you've got, Mr. Wright.
Court is now back in session. Are you prepared, High Inquisitor? So long as I remain on the witness stand, I am no longer High Inquisitor. Simply, Edgelaw will suffice. Ms. Edgelaw, I'd like to just confirm something. A moment ago we established that you were in fact present at the bell tower during the time of the incident. That makes a total of 3 people at the crime scene. It would appear that was the case. However, you managed to stay hidden from 10 different guards. With the helping of this right here. A robe of invisibility. In other words, there is every reason to be suspicious of your actions tonight. Godo is the best fucking guy, though. Godo actually, he got up from his coma, and the first fucking thing he did was go to the fucking prosecution's office and get a prosecutor's badge. And then the first thing he did was fucking find Phoenix and fuck him up in court. Goddamn, I love Godo so much. He's amazing. Alright, Lady Darklaw, while I cannot believe you would receive us in such a way, I ask that you tell the court what happened at the time of the incident. Very well. And yes, Karen, she's, her outfit is symbolic because, whatever. What happened tonight? The town square was to be the parade's final stop. I patrolled the perimeter to ensure nothing was amiss. As I passed by the bell tower, a pair of small footprints leading inside caught my eye. I went inside to investigate. I had my own reasons for not allowing any of those vigilantes to see me. I climbed the stairs up the bell tower and saw an intruder inside with her back turned. Proceeded to apprehend them. You apprehended the intruder? While I hold the position of High Inquisitor, there are often times when I must partake in various secret tasks, unbeknownst to the citizens of Labyrinthia. One of those tasks being ensuring the security of the storyteller. Security? As such, there is nothing odd nor suspicious about my actions tonight. I see. Fender, you may now begin your interrogation. Her being a cat still doesn't explain the cone tits, though. Why are they cones? I don't understand. The town square was to be the parade's final stop, but we're gonna use ink coins.
Hold it!
And what were those reasons? They relate to protecting the storyteller. It was something I was able to carry out at that particular time. Did it perhaps have something to do with what was already decided upon in the story? The storyteller's word is absolute, therefore, any and all those who make an attempt to alter his will must be dealt with immediately.
Hang on!
It's just, it bothers me so much. Why? Excuse me, Miss Kira. Isn't that, like, uncomfortable? And no, I don't draw cone tits, I draw triangle tits. It's different. Witness, ah! You seem to be deep in thought about something. Did you remember anything regarding the High Inquisitor's testimony? No, I'm, nothing. It's just, I'm a little disappointed in myself. Disappointed? I traveled all the way here to Labyrinthia in order to fulfill my mission, but all I managed to do was fail and end up being captured. Regardless of your own failure, Miss Kira, the storyteller did die as was foretold, did he not? Tonight, as the rain came pouring down over the town, I arrived at my designated location. Naturally, the bell tower was surrounded by guards and patrol, 10 to be exact. Just relax, you'll be fine so long as you're wearing this robe, I kept telling myself. Little did I know I was wrong. But none of this would have happened if I was just a little bit more careful. Enough. I would be thinking more about atoning for your past crimes and less about what you could have been if I were you. Is there anything wrong? Of course. Hold on one second. About your testimony, Miss Kira. You were thinking to yourself that so long as you had your robe on, you would be fine. That's right, so basically you were wearing the robe the whole time you were on the top floor of the bell tower, is that right? Yeah, I had it on the entire time. That is, until I was attacked. Then my robe was ripped off by the wind. Miss Kira, this is the first time we've heard any mention of this information. Is that so? I think I must have just forgotten. Your Honor, perhaps we should update this piece of evidence in the court record. Right you are. Lady Darklaw, please continue your testimony. Smug face.
Objection!
Ah, guess not here. Oh wait, yes. So the person you saw when you entered the bell tower was actually Miss Kira. The only problem with that is that it would have been impossible. What are you talking about? Miss Kira, or should I say the witness, stated that while she was waiting on the upper floor of the tower, she was wearing her invisibility robe. Therefore, there is no way Miss Darklaw could have been able to see the witness. Whoa. Right, but there is just one particular group that can see anyone dressed in this robe. And who is that exactly? Only residents of the Eldritch Woods are able to see the robe. If you're from the Eldritch Woods, then you'll have absolutely no problem seeing this thing.
Objection!
So, what you're saying is that Miss Darklaw here actually hails from the Eldritch Woods, is that correct? And that you knew this girl prior to tonight. That's right. What? A most impressive display, Mr. Wright. However, there is one detail that you appear to have overlooked. Something I overlooked. You say Miss Edgelaw saw something she should not have been able to see. However, the truth is, there is one other possibility as to what occurred tonight. It's rather easy to work out. Quite simply, the witness was not wearing the robe in the first place. What are you talking about? This witness has proven her memory of tonight's events to be quite unreliable. I believe that by the time she climbed the bell tower, she had in fact already removed her robe. What? Just as you say, Inquisitor. As you can see, Defender, your assertion is mere speculation at best. Your little witness here has been lying to the court the entire time. It's as simple as that.
Objection!
I guess that makes sense, Bardic. I just can't imagine that it would be in any form or fashion comfortable to wear a thing like that. Also, hold on, I need to blow my nose again. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh boy. In a normal court case, none of this would have happened anyway. 1 second, the witness was quite clear with her testimony. Isn't that right? I'm not sure. What? I mean, my memory's a little fuzzy. Away! I know, Bardic, I know. It's just, things like that bother me. Maybe I'm different in that regard, but I don't care. It's just weird. It would appear there is nothing more to be gained from this line of questioning. Your Honor, I suggest we return to the cross-examination. Fine idea, Inquisitor. Well then, Edgelaw, will you please continue with your testimony? As you wish, Mug. No matter how you slice it, Kira looks like she's definitely hiding something. If only there was some way of getting her to talk, huh? No matter what Kira says, Edgelaw just stays cool and brushes it off. Yeah, this isn't gonna be easy, that's for sure. Why, we really need to get to set our sights on Edgelaw. If we keep doing that, and sooner or later Kira is bound to speak up and say something. Nick. That's your most dastardly devious plan yet. Alright, I know there's still a clue or two in this testimony somewhere, and I'm gonna find it. Also, fucking imagine having to wear a fucking tight tailored suit with 3 layers like fucking Phoenix here, while there's like huge bonfires close by and everything is hot as hell. That's gonna be uncomfortable as shit. I should go back and double check her previous testimony. There have to be some more contradictions. Also, remember, he hasn't washed this outfit in fucking days. He has slept in it, and he hasn't changed it in days. Yeah. Plus, like, the fucking... I'm not sure, I don't think it's a kimono, but whatever fucking Maya is wearing cannot at all be comfortable for walking long stretches. Or at least running or whatever.
Hold it!
Imagine Phoenix in PJs though. No, way better. Phoenix in a onesie. Ah. Like, imagine fucking Phoenix in a fucking tiger onesie or something, or crocodile onesie. Those must have been Miss Kira's footsteps from when she snuck into the bell tower, right? Indeed, the ground outside was quite muddy after the rain, so her footprints were easily visible. Right, according to the vigilante's testimony, they thought the footprints looked like Foxy's, but it turned out they weren't hers. That's right, her footprint would have contained a mark where her stiletto had been. But the footprints I saw at the bell tower contained no heel mark at all. And you stepped inside those footprints on your way up the stairs so as to not leave your own and risk being detected, correct? Exactly. At that time, my main task was to ensure the safety of the town square. In doing so, it was of the utmost importance that no one knew of my presence here. Had the townspeople noticed your presence there, it would have undoubtedly have raised some suspicion. Indeed, so naturally, this is why I did not wish to be noticed by the vigilantes. Therefore, it was imperative that I mask any traces of my being there, even if it meant utilizing another's footprints. I see. Clever trick. Miss Edgelaw, I just noticed something in your testimony that's very relevant to the case. The defense requests you amend your testimony. You just can't help letting that ridiculous imagination of yours run wild, can you? Inquisition has no objections. Very well, the witness will amend her testimony.
Objection!
What I have here is a sketch of the footprints left at the bell tower. So tell me, Miss Darklaw, are these your footprints in the sketch? It would appear so. I would never mean to offend the hard worker Labyrinthius vigilantes, but tonight's task was mine and mine alone. Okay. When you put it that way, I can't help but notice a contradiction. What you say? Miss Darklaw, you stated the following. When you climbed the stairs, the footprints had no heel, so you tried to match your footsteps to them as far as possible. However, if you look at the actual footprints that were left behind, you can clearly see that not only is the heel present, but so is the entire foot. If you were trying so hard to step on the footprints already there, then the footprints in the sketch shouldn't have heel marks. Small detail, Your Honor, but that's not all I noticed. There was something very telling about Miss Darklaw's testimony. Telling, you say? She stated that she stepped onto the footprints that were already at the scene in order to disguise her presence. Now, there's something strange there. Specifically, why were these footprints left at the crime scene in the first place?
Objection!
Mr. Wright. Yes, Professor? Tell me, can you show the court why the seemingly minor detail is odd? I can't exactly do that at the moment. Who can say whether or not these footprints are indeed worthy of concern? And if it is an issue, then what exactly are the implications? That, above all, is what you must answer, Mr. Wright. I do not believe you can assert that this is a blatant contradiction at this time. There he goes again, flexing that amazing brain of his. That's enough. Miss Kira, Lady Darklaw, Lady Edgelaw, how could you? How could you simply abandon us? How could you betray us? Betray? Witness, what is the meaning of this? Lady Edgelaw, you're the witness of the Eldritch Woods. You are the one responsible for handing us our tasks. What? This wretched girl is nothing more than a detestable spawn of magic. Her words cannot be taken seriously. People of Labyrinthia, I ask you, what am I if not a loyal daughter of this fair town? No, you're lying, Lady Edgelaw. When I was waiting up there at the top of the bell tower, I was most certainly wearing that robe. Lady Edgelaw, you were also wearing a similar robe, were you not? Don't you remember? What nonsense, I haven't a clue what you're babbling about. If you've been sneaking around by yourself. Enough, listen to me and listen well. Continue as you are, and I will see to it that this court be the last place in which you ever set foot. It matters not, the end is already nigh. After the events of today, I shouldn't even be here right now. Miss Kira, you're saying that Miss Darklaw was not by herself at the time of the incident tonight? That's right. Lady Edgelaw was wearing the invisibility robe, and underneath that robe was a young girl passed out on her back. What? A girl? Could that be? Yes, it was the very same girl imprisoned inside that cage up there. You mean... Bella? What? Order! So, the accused was carried up the bell tower? My lord, there is nothing left for me to say. Mr. Word of a High Inquisitor versus that of a witch. Tell me, who would you sooner believe? Appeal to authority?
Objection!
Strike her down. Mr. Edgelaw, you of all people should be aware that this isn't a matter of believing or not believing. I'm afraid those are words that carry no meaning here. The only thing that carries any meaning here within the courtroom is evidence. Don't you agree, Mr. Wright? Absolutely, even though I will fletch and flail about, making up ridiculous bullshit just to get my way. Well now, things are beginning to heat up a little, are they not? Fine, tell me, Defender, have you the means to prove this assertion? Do you actually think you can prove that I, the High Inquisitor of Labyrinthia, carried the accused into the bell tower? From the looks of it, Miss Kira was supposed to keep quiet about Darklaw's little secret, but you couldn't deal with all of Darklaw's denials and finally found the guts to chime in. I can't let Kira's effort go to waste. I don't care what stands in my way. I'm going to find the truth. Your Honor, the defense wishes to present evidence proving that Miss Darklaw did, in fact, carry my client up the tower. Very well, Defender, you may present your evidence. As all your evidence. Just the evidence that proves Lady Darklaw carried the accused up the bell tower. Well, probably this? I don't know. I really don't know. Interesting, not that. I think this is important. Maybe? I'll just, yeah. There we go. Hooray, got it. There was something in your testimony just now I'm not buying. And that's the footprints that were left at the bell tower. Did I not just finish admitting that those were my footprints? Miss Edgelaw, you stated the following. There was no heel on the footprints, so as I ascended the stairs, I was careful to match my footprints to them as far as possible. However, the reality is, footprints pictured in the sketch actually do contain a heel. That means something must have prevented you from being able to tiptoe along the footprints that we were already there. Prevented? Ah, you mean... That's right, Your Honor. Miss Darklaw, when you climbed up the bell tower tonight, you must have been carrying Miss Cannabella on your back, is that correct? If you remember, it rained quite heavily tonight. That means the stairs must have been quite slippery. With your 2 hands occupied carrying my client, there would be no safe way for you to tiptoe up the stairs without falling. That right there is the truth behind the footprints on the staircase. Edgelaw, you... Fine, I admit it. It is as you say, I donned the robe and made my way up the tower. But I was not alone, I carried both Isabella Cannabella and her little friend up the tower with me. Little friend? That black-furred creature of hers, the thing is nary ever a second from her side. Oh, she must mean Eve. When I arrived at the top of the tower, I saw this girl already there and called out to her. I was very shocked to see the mistress show up in person like that. The girl's presence was an inconvenience, so I immediately put her to sleep. Believe it or not, it's just like you said, Defender. I used what remained of Belduke's medicine to put the girl out of the picture. And that's when Miss Kira put up a fight and pulled this pendant right off your neck, correct? That's right. I cannot fathom it. That would mean this pendant actually belongs to you, Lady Edgelaw. I just have one question, Miss Edgelaw. Why? Why take Isabella up the bell tower? Why render her unconscious? And why go through the trouble of sneaking past the guards? What exactly was your aim in all of this? I am in no way obliged to answer that question, Defender. What? What makes you say that? Simple. None of this has any relevance to the case at hand, that is why.
Objection!
Miss Edgelaw, you rendered the witness unconscious and locked her up at the top of the bell tower. I'd say that is more than a little relevant.
Objection!
Your Honor, if I may, the Inquisition believes the defense's question to be irrelevant to the current case. What are you saying? It would seem the defense has forgotten a very important point. Namely, the point of this, Mr. Wright. Huh? The aim of this trial is to find the identity of the Great Witch Bizella. Whether or not Miss Darklaw locked the witness at the top of the bell tower is hardly relevant to the purpose of this trial. But there is one thing that is very clear. Neither Miss Darklaw nor this witness could possibly be Bizella. What? If either one of those were Bizella, then there would be no need for them to have used this robe of invisibility. They cannot use any magic, therefore it is inconceivable that either of them could be the Great Witch. A rather straightforward argument if there ever was one. At the time of the incident, there were 3 people present. Of those 3, 2 used the robe of invisibility to vanish from sight, leaving only one person, indeed, Miss Cannabella. Ugh. With this in mind, the larger question is, who is Bizella? Is that not obvious? The accused Isabella is the only possible answer. Besides, the accused's voice was heard by all the townspeople chanting the spell Kronwurm.
Objection!
Not so fast. I happen to think these witnesses are extremely relevant to this trial. Did you forget about Miss Kira? She supposedly took a one-way trip into that pit of fire over there. Yet here she is, in one piece, testifying that she returned in order to kill the ruler of Labyrinthia, the storyteller. Then there's Miss Edgelaw, who arrived at the defendant unconscious and proceeded to transport her up the bell tower. I'd say there's more than enough reason to investigate who those 2 really are. Only to discover that they are not in fact the Great Witch Bizella. I'm saying there's a possibility that these 2 are somehow related to Bizella. The court will now announce its thoughts on the matter. I must say, what Inquisitor Layton has stated certainly does ring true. However, Lady Edgelaw, I have one question I must ask you. What exactly were you hoping to accomplish here tonight? I assure you, it was not my intent to deceive the good citizens of Labyrinthia. However, I must now reveal the truth to you all. What? Do you see how her hair looks like a cat from behind? Do you see the... Lady Atchlaw, are you saying that you're... Huh. That's right, my lord. I'm a shade. Shade. Lady Atchlaw, will you please tell the court exactly what you mean when you say shade? It means I'm very edgy. What the fuck is she trying to pull? I testify about something that could potentially undermine your credibility. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within Labyrinthia. To them I am known as the Great Witch. Those that are put to the flames in the witch trials become shades who live their lives in the woods. We exist to carry out tasks given to us by the mistress, the Great Witch herself. I'm not a witch, nor I'm a wandering spirit. What? Do you mean to say that not only are you a witch, but that you're the Great Witch? Smugface. Unbelievable. I do hope you have not forgotten what we established only moments ago. It is not possible for Miss Darkcloud to be Vizela. But surely the testimony just now proves it. I'm afraid that in the heat of such revelations, you have all misheard the information. This is pointless. This is the extent of what the people of this town will believe. I believe the truth will become clear during our cross-examination. Don't you agree, Mr. Wright? The cone tits are not part of it. Just, you can't fucking, no. Can't fucking get that in there.
Hold it!
Great Witch. Yes, that's right. However, I am not Vizela. Mistress to those who dwell in the Eldritch Woods is dubbed the Great Witch. Even if I wanted to be Vizela, I couldn't. As the ever so charming Inquisitor stated earlier, I cannot use magic. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna go grab a glass of water real quick. I'll be right back. No one can use magic, but they're all very magical. Miss Darklaw, I have one question. What do you mean by live outside the realm? I mean just that. We truly do live in a realm separate from this town. Now, surely one as intelligent as yourself has worked out the answer by now, no? Perhaps that remains to be seen. Regardless, it is something we cannot discuss with anyone, but it is something that the defense should be able to prove. It almost sounds like a challenge. By the way, Miss Edgelaw, since you're not actually a witch, why do you continue to be called that? To answer that, I must first discuss the true identity of the shades. Those that are put to flames return as shades. So you're saying that the Kira here right now is a shade version of the Kira from before? Indeed, Defender. The girl has no recollection of her life prior to living in those woods. What manner of witchery is this? Why, this girl, or Kira the flower seller, was cast straight into the flames before our very eyes. That's right, Your Honor, but as you can see, she didn't die. You see, there's actually a trick to the incineration device in the witch's court. A trick? Once the verdict has been delivered, the court attendants move the steel cage into position after which it seals shut. And then the cage is dropped down into a pit of fire. The bottom of the cage then opens, allowing the witch inside to escape unharmed into an underground passage. If what you're saying is true, Defender, then what of this town's witch purging history? What has been the purpose of all of this? You and the knights have indeed been raiding Labyrinthia of witches, however, nary a single life has been taken in the process. That is the reality. But you cannot truly expect me to believe such a ridiculous notion. Your Honor, it's true. Take a good hard look. Doesn't get any more alive than this. Aya. Welcome back, Aya. Fuck are you doing? Everyone's gonna recognize you. Yeah, but seeing is believing, Nick. Now they have to believe you. Because, like Kira wasn't a good enough example before. All those found guilty in the witch trials lose their names, magic, and memory. They are then sent to spend their lives as shades in the Eldritch Woods. And the mistress of those shades is the Great Witch. As you can see, this girl too has become a shade. I don't know. That's enough. Shall we return to the testimony? I do have the feeling that things are gonna get a lot worse. Press all the things, apparently. These tasks you mentioned, were you acting on them this evening? Yes, I was told to come here and become Bezella. Wait just a moment, Venus. Did you just say become Bezella? I'm sorry, I don't know why I was given such a task. All I can do is follow the orders I'm given. If I can do that, then I can return. What do you mean by you can return? Such is the nature of the shades. Neither human nor witch theirs is an existence spent in the shadows. Each of the shades is given specific tasks. Then, upon successfully completing such tasks, they are allowed to return to Labyrinthia as brand new people. But Edgelaw, how can they return as brand new citizens when we already know who they were? For instance, we all recognize the former flower seller standing before us. Now that, my lord, remains a secret, but a secret you will come to understand sooner rather than later. Simply baffling. The one who gives us our task is the Great Witch. That would be you, Lady Edgelaw. Oh, magnificent one. Well, this explanation is wrought with much things I skipped. We're gonna continue anyway. And press more things. So about those tasks, can you give us any other examples? Shade's task must never be discussed with others, no matter what. Incidentally, do you perhaps remember when you arrived back in town to carry out your orders? Well, not really. My memory is still a little fuzzy. Say, didn't Kira only just recently become one of those shade thingies? Still, I failed in my task tonight. Come to think of it, when Luke and I had our little run-in with Kira, I remember being blown clear across the marketplace, but I never saw any explosives or gunpowder. Maybe. Here was given the task of blowing you to smithereens, Nick. And we're done. Getting back to this testimony, I'm sure there's something here that just doesn't add up.
Hold it!
You really don't have any recollection of your old flower-selling self, do you? I don't. When a witch becomes a shade, they all lose all memory of their past life. They lose their memories, but why? Also, how? And yet you still have some grasp of the concept of magic, do you not, Witness? Let me spell it out for you. Magic does not exist in the Eldritch Woods. Oh, but there are actually lots of things back in the forest I have not seen in this town. There are things you haven't seen? Like really huge machines, that sort of thing. Whenever there's Layton, you can expect there to be huge machines, because machines are awesome. There's one thing that spits out fire with such amazing speed, and then it expels these huge plumes of grey smoke. A machine that spits fire? Never have I heard of such a thing. Are you certain that these machines of which you speak are not simply magic? You know, now that you mention it, I don't think anyone from this town can actually see those of us from the forest. They can't see you? Be something like that robe. How can such a thing even be possible without magic?
Objection!
Miss Edgelaw, if I may interrupt just for just a moment. What's up? Through your testimony just now, we have all come to understand the process of how one becomes a shade. However, I was hoping you could perhaps elaborate on one additional point. Namely, what exactly is the purpose behind the shades? If you wish to know our purpose, there are certain other things you must first understand. Once you've done that, the answer should be quite clear. Isn't that right, Defender? Rest assured, you will not get the answer from me. Ah, my fucking nose! As the saying goes, the witch is in your court, Defender. Ah! Give me a second. Ah. Sounds like Darklaw is challenging me to figure this out. Challenge accepted.
Hold it!
Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, okay. I guess that works too. I was born ready, Yorna. Something that exists in this town but shouldn't. I think I know what you're getting at. Defender, please present your evidence. Sure thing. The purpose of the shades could be to make sure this particular thing exists in Labyrinthia. Just generally, I guess?
Take that!
Something that doesn't exist. I have a feeling no one is going to like the answer I'm about to give, and it'll probably end up shaking this town to its core. But I gotta tell him. Since I arrived here in Labyrinthia, there's been no shortage of really strange events. Ignaeus, Demeric, Godor, Goldor, and now Grandworm. The mere command of magic is in itself a crime, is it not? In this town, witches are arrested and made to participate in witch trials. They are then sentenced to death by fire. But none of these witches actually died. That supposed death by fire wasn't real. And neither is magic. It doesn't really exist. What are you saying? The Eldritch Woods apparently contain some rather large machines unlike anything that exists within Labyrinthia. machines that emit fire and produce large plumes of smoke. To top it all off, the citizens of Labyrinthia are not able to see said machines. Sounds like nothing more than magic. Yes, that's exactly it, Your Honor. Miss Darklaw, magic doesn't really exist in this town. That's the answer, isn't it? Magic does not what? Seems we have finally arrived at the stunning conclusion. The secret behind Labyrinthia. What? Order, I say. What? Means that all of the magic you've seen in this town was nothing more than an illusion created and put into motion by the Shades. But Defender the Witches, we have clearly seen them use magic. Let us take a moment to think carefully about the systems employed by the Shades. Systems? What is essential in order for a witch to use magic? Witch must possess a Talia Magica and must say an incantation in order to cast a spell. And the spells able to be cast are determined by the Scepter's magic gems. Now, what do you think is the purpose of placing such requirements on the use of magic? What do you mean, purpose? These requirements are not there to allow the user to cast magic. Rather, the reality is that they are there to inform the Shades of who should be using magic. It is possible that witches were always being closely observed by Shades. That's why they donned those robes to appear hidden until they were needed to create magic. Create? Indeed, there are all kinds of spells within this tome. It would be quite troublesome if they were simply allowed to use any spell at will. Yeah, it will make the Shades' job that much more difficult for sure. Precisely so. That is why it was imperative that a certain restriction be placed on the use of magic. Referring to the Talia Magica, right, Professor? Of course, no wonder the scepter could contain only 2 magic gems. Then there's the incantation. What would happen if a witch could simply whisper the incantation quietly to herself or not even say it at all? Boy, that'd be so cool. I'd be casting a spell all day long, and no one would ever see it coming. Maya, we spent an entire trial proving that you weren't a witch, remember? If the witches didn't give some sort of signal, then there would be no way for the Shades to know when to cast a spell. Right you are, Mr. Right. The incantations were a way of telling the Shades when the witch was ready to use magic. What on earth? Never did I think these requirements could have such a purpose. This is getting even worse from here on out. It's all fucking just... It's gonna get ridiculous. Now, let's think back to the previous events leading up to today that have involved magic. Our first encounter with magic was the use of the spell Ignace a few nights ago. A spell like this was nothing more than the flame spewed from a machine being used by the Shades. Then that means the mirror. The spell that makes the caster disappear? No doubt about it. It must have been this robe. Next is the incident with Goldor, the spell that transmuted me into a gold statue. While I understand this may sound a bit absurd, I can only surmise that the Shades created a gold statue in my image, took me and left it in my place the instant the incantation was uttered. Professor, it's no more absurd than anything else that's happened so far. We can therefore conclude that all of the magic in Labyrinthia was created in a similar way. What do you say to that, Miss Darklaw? I'd expect nothing less from you, Inquisitor Layton. At any given time, there were between 5 and 10 witches in town. All of the witches were accompanied by Shades at all times. It was easier than you would think. You see, the Shades living in the Eldritch Woods total in the hundreds. It was simply a matter of having each of the Shades operate in shifts in order to watch over each of the witches within the town. I must say, Lady Darklaw, this is quite a number of Shades. It was not only those who fell victim to the flames that were turned into Shades, but their victims too were made permanent residents of the Eldritch Woods. hold on. Far more dangerous than any spell is apparently a fucking cold. Anyway, those two shady thieves from before were turned into shades. Ah yes, you mean Robs and Mugs. Despite their dubious appearance, those two were a couple of my best shades. Shady thieves turned into shades. This stuff writes itself. I cannot believe what I have heard. However, there is still one thing I do not understand just yet. And what would that be? As has just been explained, we have established that there is no possibility of magic being real. But replacing me with a gold statue to give the illusion of transmutation, for example, while it sounds simple enough, I myself, and presumably also Miss Faye, have no recollection of this replacement actually taking place. Hey, that's right, the professor got all blingy before I could even bat an eye. It begs the question, how and why was the statue created, let alone used to replace me? That is true. The same goes for the Godor. It's supposed to create a portal between two green-colored walls. Perhaps that is exactly why the spell can only work on green walls, Mr. Wright. Still, it'd be impossible for the Shades to get those portals ready so quickly. I agree. If we take a moment to think, we can see that all of these spells have one strange thing in common. Indeed, at most, almost as if some time between the start and end of the incident was unaccounted for. Furthermore, any memory I might have had regarding the incident seems to have simply disappeared in the process. I got it, Nick. It's just like what happened to Kira. She's got absolutely no memory of her life in Labyrinthia before the trial, right? Yes, I do not remember this Kira you speak of. And, oh yeah, when you really think about it, doesn't it seem super weird how the Shades are able to return to the town if they complete their tasks? You're right, Maya. I mean, the townsfolk are bound to remember some of the things about them, right? Like how Miss Kira here threw a major hissy fit in Kurt and was barbecued for being a witch. Eloquently put, Mr. Wright. Hence, we cannot yet conclude that this entire illusion was primarily accomplished through the use of machinery. Simply put, there must have been some way of affecting the memories of all of those within the confines of this town. Missing time and lost memories? Now that is interesting, Inquisitor. You are correct. There is in fact a secret that lies within the depths of the Eldritch Woods. Something that the people of this town cannot see, something that can rob people of their time and memories. It's the very thing that connects all of what you have heard tonight. It's a secret of monumental proportions. And let me guess. It's a secret that cannot be revealed by the misters of the Eldritch Woods, is that right? Yes, an excellent deduction, Defender. Witches' souls wander astray within the Eldritch Woods. Until tonight, I thought this nothing but a mere fairy tale told to children, but it has become clear that a seemingly large organization lies within that forest. The Witch's Court is the border between this world and the other world. And that means, in this world, you're Labyrinthia's High Inquisitor, while also being mistress to the Shades in the other world. Otherwise known as the Great Witch. May I intervene for just a moment, Mr. Wright? Sure. In all honesty, there is still something that sticks out as a little odd. Particularly in Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. Did you say the previous testimony? There was one vital truth that we managed to take away from that testimony. You mean that magic does not truly exist? Indeed, quite a vital, albeit shocking truth. However, there is one more truth hidden within that same testimony. Something else? Must have checked the court record more times than I can count, but I didn't find a single other contradiction. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Wright? When there is no evidence left. We have one more weapon at our disposal with which to uncover the truth. Oh, hey, I got it, Nick. My eye is on point tonight. Remember, in a witch trial, you can cross-examine two witnesses at the same time. Hey, that's right, I completely forgot. Not using that game mechanic for so long made me completely forget about it. So time to use that again. And that contradiction to provide us a much needed clue. I'm not entirely sure where the professor is going with this, but I believe it is judgment. Besides, if we're going to blow this case wide open, it's going to be worth a shot. Fuck my nose. God damn. Very well, we will now take a closer look at Lady Darklaw's previous testimony. This is it, Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. There's a glaring contradiction.
Objection!
Well, that's embarrassing. I don't really get what the fuck is going on, but whatever.
Objection!
Your Honor, there's obviously a huge discrepancy between these two pieces of testimony. Miss Darklaw stated that she is known as the Great Witch. However, according to Miss Kira's testimony, Miss Edgelaw was her venerable mistress, the Great Witch. That is correct, she was the Great Witch. Note Miss Kira's use of the past tense. Past tense? I'm afraid my grammar is not quite what it used to be. May I ask you what you mean? It's simple. Miss Darklaw was mistress to the Shades, or as they also called her, the Great Witch. Therefore, she is no longer the Great Witch. She is not the Great Witch? Witness this is true. Huh? It is as you have heard, my lord. I relinquish my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task. What would that objective be again? That would be the assassination of the storyteller, Your Honor. Witness, at the beginning of this trial you stated that you came to town in order to complete your task, did you? What's more, you said that you were going to summon the fire dragon to do it. Now this task, it wasn't Miss Starclaw that gave it to you, was it? No, it wasn't. So then the most pressing question is, who was it that gave you that task? Who told you to come to Labyrinthian and assassinate the storyteller? I cannot tell you no matter what. Alright, so Dracula isn't a great witch anymore. Which must mean the mastermind behind this entire thing is... It would seem the defense has worked it out as well. Mr. Wright, you know who really gave Miss Kira her task tonight, do you not? Defender, I ask that you enlighten the court. Show us who really gave this witness her task to assassinate the storyteller. It's the vigilantes!
Take that!
The storyteller? We're talking about someone with the authority and power to replace the Great Witch. Someone who calls the shots. I can't think of anyone else that meets these criteria, except for the storyteller himself. Preposterous, then what that would mean... Exactly, Your Honor. It means that the storyteller gave this final task to Kira himself. He was, in short, responsible for his own assassination. What? I mean, the way he fucking just took it and also wrote it in his story made that kind of clear from the beginning, you know? Since, you know, even under the previous rules, since he wrote his own death into the story, he kind of... whatever. Why would he plan his own assassination? That I cannot say, Your Honor. However, the final chapter of the story does tell of his inevitable death. While he assigned his task to Kira himself, it is perfectly natural that he would do so. However, what is not natural is your behavior tonight, Miss Edgelaw. What was unnatural about the High Inquisitor's behavior? You were once the head of all the Shades, and yet tonight you tried to interfere with the storyteller's plan. You rendered Miss Kira unconscious and locked her away in the belfry of the bell tower. That to me seems like the activity of someone aiming to put a stop to this plan altogether. Indeed, Lady Edgelaw, what would be your reason for such behavior? I'll leave that to you, Mr. Wright. Based on what we've seen in this trial, the defense believes Miss Edgelaw's reason for covering up her actions tonight can only be attributed to one thing. This plan was handed down by the storyteller himself, and Ms. Edgelaw was definitely aiming to put a wrench in it, but why? Whoops, I pressed the thing because skipping text in this game sucks. He wanted to sabotage his plan. Sabotage? I mean, think about it. Her boss forced her to give up her position as the Great Witch. I'd say sabotaging your boss's plan for the sake of revenge is a perfectly plausible reason. It worries me greatly that you should say that with such a huge smile on your face. Whatever. Remember, Mr. Wright, in the end the plan was not stopped. The storyteller was in fact killed tonight. That's true. It is my belief that this was an act of betrayal. Betrayal, of course. Should have seen that one a while ago. Storyteller used the Great Witch Bezella to take his own life. Instructions to carry out the plan were given to Miss Kira. However, Miss Darklaw planned to intervene and change the scenario at the very last minute. She planned to do so by changing the identity of the Great Witch from Miss Kira to Miss Cannabella. Thus bringing us to our current situation, Miss Cannabella on the trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Bezella. You, Miss Darklaw, seem to harbor a rather strong hatred for the storyteller, if I'm not mistaken. A hatred, you say? I suppose it could be called that. That's right, behold my revenge. Did you say revenge? Miss Edgewater, will you please tell the court of your plan for revenge? If you insist. Hold on, before Anon leaves, I'm just gonna, put the user in timeout. I can't choose how long it is, but I'm going to remember to do that immediately next time he comes on stream. The High Inquisitor, and also the Great Witch. Long have I done those two masks, one as Labyrinthia's protector, the other its harbinger of destruction. In other words, I was merely meant to serve him, and yet he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. He did not care enough about me, or any of the townspeople, to allow us the dignity of deciding our own fate. Indeed, what we witnessed tonight was the cowardly act of a man looking for an easy way to end that which he could not properly finish. He cared for no one but himself, hence his sudden sham of an ending. And for that I will never forgive him. What do you mean by sham of an ending? The Great Witch Bezella is to summon a dragon of fire and end the life of the creator. He will then be put on trial and judged, thus heralding a period of peace and prosperity for all of Labyrinthia. Such is the ending written for this town and its people. It is not an ending I oppose in principle. Who would not wish a happy ending for their own people? However, the problem lies in Bezella's identity. As you know, he assigned the role of the Great Witch to this girl beside me. You're saying that was a falsehood, is that correct? I knew Bezella's true identity. This is not something I could ever forget. That is why I went to the bell tower, and it is why I took the accused there. I did it to ensure the true witch, foretold in the story, was given the judgment she was due. True witch? You don't mean? Yes, I speak of none other than Isabella Cannabella.
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, there is a glaring contradiction in your statement. And what would that be? It's supposedly common knowledge that Bezella is capable of using all magic. However, that is far from the truth. Magic does not actually exist in this town. It was all one giant illusion created by the Shades. Therefore, Great Witch Bezella cannot exist either. You fool! Defender, you really don't have a clue, do you? But wait just a minute now, is the Defender not correct? Magic does not exist, and it goes without saying that witches do not exist either. And that would include the Great Witch, would it not?
Objection!
Mr. Wright, there is a fundamental mistake in your argument. What do you mean? I have but one simple question. What exactly is Bezella? Huh? Well, she's supposed to be head of all witches. Allow me to reword the question. Great Witch Bezella is root of all disaster within Labyrinthia. Knowing that, what specific disaster might she have been the root of? That would be, just thought of something. We've been hearing Bezella's name left and right since we got here, but not once has the real Bezella show up in person. Indeed, Miss Faye, Bezella herself has been virtually absent from the story thus far. But Inquisitor, did she not claim the life of the storyteller tonight? It would appear so, Your Honor. However, there is just one more thing. Consider this. Which particular story is every citizen of Labyrinthium was familiar with? Well, that would have to be The legendary fire, right? Precisely. Surely you're not serious, as the name implies that is but a mere legend. No one knows for certain if it occurred. So they say, but the reality is there are still traces of that terrible fire within the town today. Professor's right, we've even seen some of it up close and personal. Hey, yeah, the Great Archive. You are indeed correct, Inquisitor. Littered throughout the town are burnt remnants of a fire most fierce. However, no one can say for certain what transpired back then. You see, none of the souls saw what actually happened. Let me see if I have this straight. There's an entire town full of people and no one saw what happened. Ah! This would be going so much quicker if I didn't have to blow my nose every 5 seconds. Except for one particular person. What? There is one person who saw everything. I am speaking, of course, of the one responsible for the fire itself, the Great Witch Bezella. I remember it, all of it. When I close my eyes, I can picture it so vividly. The awful sight of the flames engulfing everything they touched, the scorching heat on my skin, the smell of burning cinder all around me, the large plumes of black smoke, the warm tears streaming down my face. I remember it all. What you're recalling now is the moment the Great Witch Bezella destroyed our town. Well, it appears my role here is finished. As for the rest, I'll leave it in your capable hands, Inquisitor. Huh? She just vanished into thin air. He's right, these memories are proof that I am Bezella. But, Mr. Wright, remember if you will, what I said at the beginning of this trial. I came here to prove that Isabella Cannabella is in reality the Great Witch Bezella. Right. There is still one more thing I wish to present to the court. I would now like to call the final witness to the stand. Final witness?
Hold it!
But not yet. It would appear he has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you this trial's final witness, the storyteller. And just like that, he appeared, the man who died not hours before. And the victim of this very trial, the storyteller himself. Professor sure chose one heck of a final witness. Morning is drawing closer and closer. How this trial will end is anyone's guess. We're gonna find out now, though. I want to finish this shit so I can move on to games that are not as silly as this. Oh my god. Hold on, I'm gonna treat myself to another Kinder Schokobon. What? Dude, these games are awesome. I'm definitely gonna stream Myst 4 at some point. for shizzle sure. But that's probably not going to be for a while. Anyway, back game thing. I don't quite know what to say. I'm truly shocked to see the storyteller again. What? This was unexpected by me too, as I did not plan to appear before you all again. I was convinced that you would all see the loss of me at the parade. But this is a trial for your murder, and you are alive. Yeah, see? No one was killed, so let's call this whole thing off and never have to witch trials again. Whoa, Maya, take it easy. We're still in court, remember? Well, what's the point of this? The storyteller wasn't killed. Isabella would never do anything to harm her dad.
Objection!
If only it was as simple as that to end this trial. However, it is not, Miss Faye. Search your memory and you will know the reason why. The crime Miss Cantabella is accused of is not just murder. The purpose of the witches' court is to sentence the witches for what they are. Isn't that right, Mr. Storyteller? I fully intend to expose the true identity of Bezella, and this would not be possible without you, Mr. Storyteller, on the witness stand. I see. And so you assumed the role of an Inquisitor just to lure me here. Be that as it may, the Inquisition still maintains that Spella Cannabella is the Great Witch Bezella. Dad! It's been such a long time, Miss Bella. 4 years, in fact. You must have experienced many hardships living among the townsfolk. This daughter of mine never fits in with the others, no matter how hard she tries. No, it wasn't quite like that. There were people who supported me. Aunt Patty was very kind, and the customers who came to our bakery were nice to me. I'm happy to hear that. I wanted to watch over you ever since you left for the town. But in the end, I failed to do so. I had no idea of what was happening to you. I am very sorry, Espella. Oh, Dad, you don't need to apologize to me for anything. It's me that owes you an apology. I was trying to hurt you. It was all my fault, not yours. There's no reason for you to blame yourself. Dad, I'm happy we got to talk. Bella, we were so busy writing everyone's stories that we stopped talking to each other. Before, it was different. You used to have time for me. Please forgive me. Why did it have to come to this? Mr. Storyteller, it's time to put everything in order now. The townsfolk and your daughter deserve to know the truth. Truth about yourself and the story. It is supposed it is time I told you the truth. Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Storyteller? Let us begin. In this trial, I shall be judged. Understood. The witness shall testify. People of Labyrinthia who have gathered in this court, I will now tell you the true story. Many of you will certainly find it hard to believe and difficult to accept. Nevertheless, I ask you to please lend me an ear and listen with open minds. Isabella, my dear daughter, I ask you to do the same too. Although you know me as a storyteller, I have one more identity. I am the president of Labrellum, Inc. This whole town is one of Labrellum's research facilities. It may be hard for you to comprehend. This land is rich in a very special substance which affects everyone who lives here. This substance enables the manipulation of people's minds, and that is what Labrellum is researching. This experiment began 10 years ago. The townsfolk all became test subjects. So this is what I meant when I said at the very beginning of all this, that this is going to be so fucking stupid, you're probably gonna get really mad. So please, you are now officially allowed to be really mad at this game. I don't understand. What does it all mean? I don't quite understand what I've just heard. I do not blame you. I suppose all the townsfolk are just as confused. Labyrinth is an artificial town created entirely by me. But of course, as artificial as it may be, it is a reality for those that live here. For the past 10 years, I have been bringing the illusion to life by writing the story. I'm lost for words. It feels as if the whole world has been turned on its head. Your Honor, it is certainly not an easy matter to grasp this new situation at once. Regardless, I suggest we hear more of what the witness has to say. Ah! Fucking hell, my nose keeps on clogging up from the very back of it. It feels so bad. Anyway, I agree, let's continue. The defense may begin the interrogation.
Hold it!
This is too much. I don't even know where to start. Labrellum Inc. That's a name I've heard before. It is a global pharmaceutical company with headquarters in England. If my memory serves me right, it was founded by Arthur Cannabella. Indeed, that is my true name. Were you familiar with that, Mr. Wright? Sure, yeah, I've heard of Labrellum Inc., of course. Labrellum Inc. is known for developing a completely harmless anesthetic about 20 years ago. It is now widely used in hospitals all around the world. The company is also working on various other plant-derived sedatives, revolutionizing medicine. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised by your vast knowledge, Mr. Layton.
Objection!
That's irrelevant. That fact is just based on the real world, where we're from, not Labyrinthia. Real world, Mr. Wright? And what would you call the world we are in right now? You think this is a fantasy? No, that's not quite... Mr. Wright, I do not mean to be so rude as to presume I know what thoughts are running through your head. However, Labyrinthia is certainly not a place within a book or in the past. Labyrinthia is a part of the world we know. Huh? But how could a town like this exist in the real world? You think it's impossible? Why would that be? Are you saying that everyone would know about an unusual town like this if it existed? It's something like that. Anyway, it would be on a map at least. No, I'm afraid that cannot be so. Huh? This town is not marked on any map. It doesn't officially exist. What do you mean? The answer is quite simple. Google Earth does not exist.
Hold it!
This whole town is a research facility? Yes, this whole area is private property of Labrellum Inc. So they all own this land then. That is why Labyrinthia is not marked on any map and people from the outside cannot enter. We have taken measures to ensure that this town is not noticed by local residents. I'm glad people are finally getting just how stupid this is. What measures are you talking about? Consider the fact that magic is supposed to exist in this town. Perhaps special mechanisms that were used to create magic also serve to conceal Labyrinthia. There are limits to what magic the Shades are capable of producing on their own, after all. That is the case indeed. The magic in this town has been made feasible owing to the latest technology. Technology? Tricks, I cannot believe this. However, there is one question. There is no industry in Labyrinthia. How do you obtain the necessary commodities? Very observant, aren't you? All commodities are regularly shipped in by sea. A young man once made his way here on a freighter and took a spell out of the town. That was Carmine Accidenti, a friend of mine. I see. But is something on this scale really possible? As you might suspect, it would be beyond the power of Labrellum Inc. to keep this facility this size a secret for so long. Labyrinth is a project co-funded by the British government. What? It's a government project? Well, what would their stake in this be? It's conspiracy. It's all because of my beliefs. Beliefs? By the way, yes, Your Honor. What is a research facility? I've never heard of anything like that before. Yes, that was careless of me. Naturally, you wouldn't know what it means. How should I explain? This whole town is my creation. Ah, that's what it was about. In other words, it's all your story, that makes it clear. Swing and a miss, Your Honor. Getting back to the topic. There is an important reason why we have chosen to build such a facility here.
Hold it!
A special substance? What does it actually do? This area has been isolated since ancient times, developing its own unique culture. There are underground ruins on the verge of the town. We found writings here, presumably left by the natives of this land. Hold on. Well, that was supposed to be there was missing. If you have seen the ruins, I suspected that you will find them. Then perhaps you have also noticed that everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition. Peculiar condition, you say? I can't just sit here quietly like a patient old man when you're saying such things. Just what kind of condition is it? You have every right to know. This condition makes people fall unconscious upon the sound of a certain metal being struck. Metal? What kind of metal? Pure silver. And so there is not a single object made of silver in Labyrinthia. Now that I think of it, that's true. Just imagine what a disaster a fancy diner would be if everyone fainted whenever they used silver cutlery. This condition is an integral part of magic. How so? All inhabitants of Eldritch Woods carry small silver bells. I see now. The shades ring the bells when they need to create the illusion of magic. Everyone present falls unconscious and the shades set to their work. Oh, look what at where that shade's hand was. So that's the secret of the time-stealing magic Darklaw told us about. Now that they mention it, Hero had a small bell with her when we saw her back at the marketplace. They've been researching this condition at Labrellum Inc. Finally, we discovered its cause. It was the groundwater. Water causes it? Groundwater contains a certain unique substance found in the soil in this area. So, if you drink that water, you get this silver allergy thing? But, of course, we've been drinking it. It's impossible to live without water. Of course, that's why everyone who lives here has that condition. Oh dear. You needn't worry, this condition is harmless, especially as silver is unknown to the townsfolk. Something's still not quite right though. If the sound of silver bells makes people pass out, why don't the shades pass out too? Although the effect of the substances in the groundwater is powerful, it doesn't last long. The condition will vanish after a day or so without drinking that water. Ah, that's convenient. That substance's effects aren't limited to humans. It can also affect plants to a great extent. Plants are affected by it? Our research was focused on the plants rather than humans.
Hold it!
That sounds really scary. Just what is this about? The substance enters the groundwater, affecting organisms that consume it. People who drink it daily acquire that odd condition. They fall unconscious upon hearing the sound of the silver metal. Yes, although the substance in the groundwater also has a tremendous effect on plants. Wild flowers in this area contain a certain poison. On my beard, poison? This poison doesn't harm the body, it has the effect of manipulating the mind. It brainwashes people. I've been writing the story for 10 years. The title of the story is Historia Labyrinthia. The ink I used to write it was made from those plants. Oh Nick, do you remember how funny the ink smelled? That was the gas released when the ink evaporates, and that's where the trick is. What? Those that inhale the gas become extremely susceptible to suggestion. You mean brainwashing? They will believe anything they are told or anything they read, however strange or unrealistic. It will be imprinted into their minds as the truth. So that was the true purpose of the parade. Pages of the story written in that special ink were regularly distributed among the townspeople. It was done so that everyone would be in a state of hypnosis. Indeed, the creation of a fully controlled town with the inhabitants subject to long-term hypnosis. That was one of the topics of our research. Then the story that is written in the Historia Labyrinthia. You could call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, realized through the shade's work and the hypnotic effect on the ink vapors. Is that how it was all this time? Librellum used hypnosis to control all those people. You forgot the ink. I can't believe that the government was supporting that. Me neither.
Hold it!
All the people subjected to this experiment have been living here all this time? No, we started with just a few people, gradually getting more and more. I must say that I'm afraid of what the answer to this question might be, but where did those people come from? You haven't resorted to abduction by any chance, have you? Of course not. Every test subject signed a contract with Librellum. A contract to have their memories erased and be used like pawns in the story? The current inhabitants of this town have one thing in common. They were all dissatisfied with their lives and wanted to start anew, forgetting about their mistakes, forsaking unwanted identities. There are more people like that out there than you might think. They have all agreed to participate in our research. But that's insane. It's not as unreasonable as you suggest. We give them a new identity, a chance to start their life again. In return, they subject themselves to hypnosis and live in this town as our test subjects. In order for this project to be possible, we suppress their memories of the past, including the memory of signing the contract. So ultimately, they are not aware of what is going on. I couldn't agree more. I've got no idea what's going on. Let me make this clear, Mr. Wright. We do not erase their memories, we suppress them. They will regain their memories of life before Labyrinthia once the contract is over. So, this place was uninhabited before you started this research 10 years ago? And you've managed to keep everyone in a state of hypnosis for 10 years straight. Can you really hypnotize someone for that long? I mean, 10 years is one heck of a time. It was achieved through the distribution of the story during parades. The ink vapors have a powerful effect, but it wouldn't last 10 years, of course. With each parade, the effect was renewed. That's why the parades took place at regular intervals. That was the true purpose of that event. Yes, it was all just a jape. It was just a prank, bro. Y'all got pranked. I've been born and raised here. It was a poor, small town with no industry to speak of that had fallen behind the times. Ever since I was a child, I had one friend that was especially close to me. He was a bright boy, curious about the world. His name was Newton Belduke. Sir Newton Belduke, the alchemist. Though they were childhood friends, the plot thickens. And my nose calls again. But what if someone can't read? He had always been interested in the unique natural features of this land. There was really nothing here, but to us this area was an exciting place worth exploring. And one day we made an astonishing discovery on the outskirts of the town. We stumbled upon the entrance to the underground caverns leading to the colossal ruins. Whoa, look at that, Newton. This is so amazing. And this strange writing, I've never seen anything like it before. We found ancient writings in the ruins. Newton managed to decode some of them. According to our findings, a highly advanced culture had existed on the land where our little town was built. Some great calamity had befallen the natives and they migrated elsewhere. They believed that plants and water in that area were cursed by an entity they called the Great Witch Bezella. The natives sealed the curse within the ruins and left in search of a new home. That is all that we managed to decipher. Bezella's curse. It was sealed in the ruins, you say? Would that be the Bell of Ruin? Bell of Ruin. Oh, that's the bell from the bell tower. I wonder why it's got an ominous name like that. Regrettably, we couldn't get any further information from the writings at that time. Needless to say, Newton and I were very excited by this discovery. I knew it. This place is special. It has some kind of mysterious power. If we could find out what that is, our humble town will become famous. You know what? I'm going to do that. I will unravel the mystery of this place. And so Newton began studying the indigenous plants and substances dissolved in the groundwater. On the other hand, I studied economics and management at a university in London. I dreamed of bringing prosperity to this poor, forgotten town. I wanted to change it for the better with my own hands. Meanwhile, Newton had succeeded at extracting a new anesthetic from the local plants. Was that the anesthetic which led to the foundation of Labrellum? Yes, it was a huge success for Labrellum Inc., and before we knew it, we were making a fortune. We wanted the whole town to hear about our hometown. Whole world to hear about our hometown. Alas, fate was not kind to us, as we never realized that dream. Everyone in our town had died. All of the townspeople perished. Huh? Just what on earth happened to them? That does not matter anymore. We purchased the environs of our town, the mountains, the lake, the plains, everything. Then, 10 years ago, having received financial support from the government, we started Project Labyrinthia. It was much smaller in the beginning. It started as no more than a village. Over the course of 10 years, it slowly grew into a town. The population increased as well. More people were signing the contract with Labrellum, slowly increasing the number of inhabitants, correct? Yes, they would sign a contract, be hypnotized and assigned a role, and then be introduced to the world of the story. It's not genocide, it is an accident though, and it will be cleared up, I think. I have spoken at length. Thank you for patiently listening to my tale. Isella is the name of a witch from an ancient legend that we read about in the ruins. It is a fictional character, she does not exist. But then magic and witches... Magic is just an illusion, and there are no witches. Right, so it was all fake, that doesn't make it much better. Why did you write a story where people killed with magic and witches are thrown into the fire? You could have made it a peaceful, pleasant world where everyone would be happy. No, that was not possible. But why? This is a research facility, after all. We are researching ways to completely control human beings. Test subjects need to be exposed to extreme situations, so we decided on a fantasy setting. We wouldn't have got funding from the government otherwise. In other words, we're running a business. But just what instructions do you give to the people who you hypnotize? You don't give each of them a full set of memories of their whole fictional life, do you? No, it's much more simple than that. We only give them 2 pieces of information. First one, that they were born in this town, and the second was their new occupation. Then they fill in the gaps themselves, without being aware of it. The human mind requires a consistent story of one's life. Which means, of course, that no Labyrinthian has memories from earlier than 10 years ago. No one has any memories from before they came to Labyrinthia. What are you saying? As you can hear, no one can remember their real past. There are no exceptions. Wait a second, no exceptions? It seems Mr. Wright too has noticed it now. What are you talking about, Layton? Mr. Cannabella, you have just testified that not a single citizen of this town remembers anything from more than 10 years ago. Yes, as that is the truth. Now, that's a strange assertion, especially coming from you. What do you mean? There is one person in this town who remembers what happened more than 10 years ago. He must be merely imagining things now. Mr. Wright, please enlighten us all. Who is this person? Precisely, Mr. Wright. That person is none other than Isabella. What? True, Dad. I remember it clearly as if it happened yesterday. The legendary fire. No, that's impossible. That's just your imagination, Isabella. No, it's not. I couldn't remember it before, but it all came back to me, because I'm Bezella. No, no, no. Isabella, there are no witches. That fire, it was just a bad dream. The Inquisition would like to call Isabella Cannabella to testify. What? Regardless of whether Miss Cannabella is Bezella or not, her memories may contain valuable clues. That may be so. No, wait. I don't agree to this. This trial is over, Your Honor.
Objection!
You seem to be forgetting something, Mr. Cannabella. Your story has ended. You are no longer in control. You're merely one of the characters. And that is also why we will not cease seeking the truth until we find it. Spence, what is your opinion on this? Let's do the shizzle. In that case, the court summons Isabella as a witness. Defendants, bring the accused to the witness stand. Now, witness, testify about your memories of the legendary fire. Yes, my lord. I was just a little girl then. It happened during the annual fire festival. Everyone was gathered in the town square for the fire festival, and I was watching them from the bell tower. Great Witch Bezella woke within me and brought calamity upon the town. An enormous fire dragon appeared and was trembling with fear, terrified by what I had summoned. Witness, what you have told us wasn't a bad dream or a fairy tale, but what you actually experienced. Yes, it was, like I have already said. I remember it very clearly. The heat from the fire, the smell of the smoke. Hear the whistle clack. Smell the smoke. It's trains, trains, trains. Fast trains, slow trains. Offense may cross-examine the witness. Thanks. Sorry, not sorry. I do love me that trains video. It is great. Was there really a huge fire that destroyed the town? And what about Bezella? Is she even real? The answers are in Isabela's testimony. Hinto coin.
Hold it!
Thank God we don't need to press everything. Can you tell me more about that fire dragon? That monstrous image is so vivid. It looked just like the one that attacked Dad this evening. I've done something terrible again. And you're sure that the fire dragon you saw more than 10 years ago and the one summoned this evening were exactly the same? Yes, they were definitely the same.
Hang on!
Is something wrong, Mr. Cannabella? It's impossible. There's no such thing as magic. You never believe me, Dad. I know why you have to be like this. There was a time when things were different. Bella, fucking shut up. Look at them, it's like a common argument between a teenager and a parent. Mr. Cannabella created this town. He knows better than anyone else that there's no magic here. Miss Cannabella. Yeah. Would you mind giving us more details of what you saw? Could I borrow a sheet of parchment and a pencil? I think it'll be better if I draw it. Sure, why not? Let her fill in her picture book or something. This is it. This is the fire dragon that I saw that night. I only caught a glimpse of it, but it was real. That looks more like ink to me. She demanded a fucking pencil. Why didn't you give her a pencil? Axe. Nuts. I must say, it does closely resemble the supposedly magical creature we witnessed this evening. It does indeed. This drawing shall be added to the evidence. This is a farce. What happened over a decade ago? Was the town really destroyed by a fire dragon? Covering the truth about the dragon shall be our next objective. Witness, continue the testimony. Yes, my lord. Charcoal would have a different texture and not as clear of an outline as that. I was just a little girl then, and I happened to do the thing.
Hold it!
Do you remember casting a spell? I cannot remember.
Hang on!
You look mad. Ah, pardon me, did you want something? I'd like to know what you think about Isabella's statement. My opinion about all this has not changed since last time. It's all just a dream. Listen to me, Isabella. You're not Bezella. There was no legendary fire. Dad, you have no idea how much I want to believe you, but I just can't. I remember what I saw and how it felt. The heat, the smoke, the whistle blowing, the fast trains. Magic doesn't exist. It belongs in fairy tales. There are no fire dragons either. Spella seems certain that she saw a fire dragon at that time. However, as long as we do not have any evidence to support or disprove this claim, we can't make any progress. Do I have evidence? Anything that could demonstrate that the fire dragon was real? Your Honor. What's up? Defense will present evidence. Evidence? I suppose you mean evidence that will prove that my daughter's memories of the dragon amount to nothing more than wild imagination. On the contrary, I'm pretty positive Espella did see the dragon. What? I thought you had more sense than you. Well, well, well. Aren't we all curious about what the defense has to go show us?
Take that!
Well, how about this? I guess it's not that. I don't know. Okay. So we don't have it yet, obviously. I want to hurry up here because I want to finish this as soon as possible. I want to get to bed before midnight, if at all, if that's at all doable.
Hold it!
You remember casting a spell?
Hang on!
The fuck do you want? I guess I should just say I have nothing. Skip all this shit. I can understand your choice to be cautious with your judgment, Mr. Wright. However, I must remind you that the only way to discover the whole truth is to bring to light the true nature of the dragon witnessed by the accused. What is the fucking hint coin doing? So I do have to present something, but what the fuck do I have to present? The only thing that makes any sense is the sketch from the fucking thing, but that didn't work, so... Maybe I have to present this? I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. Whoops, I need to do a thing again, hold on. Coin, fuck, stop. I hate this about all the fucking Ace Attorney games, that I can't skip this stupid epilogue entirely, quickly.
Hold it! Hang on!
The hint card is telling me to do this thing here, but then it's not, like, actually telling me whether to present anything or not, which is weird, because usually it does do that. Try it again, I guess. There's nothing else that it tells me to do. Right, so what do we have? Find a dragon sketch, footprint sketch, bell tower plan, invisible robe. Makes no sense. I tried this, which wasn't the thing. I guess.
Take that!
Okay, that doesn't really make any sense to me, but it is, of course, a spell that's strong enough for a dragon. It's impossible to draw a dragon with so much detail unless you've actually seen it. You could just be making up any dragon, you dude. That's whatever. Looks very much like the fire dragon we saw this evening. That cannot be a mere coincidence. You cannot possibly use that drawing as evidence. Why not? Because you could have just drawn the dragon from this evening. Dad, why don't you believe me? I saw that dragon when I was little. This town is my creation. I know everything about it, and I assure you there is no magic. If there's anyone who can tell you what's possible and what isn't, it is me, the creator of Labyrinthia. Your overconfidence has clouded your judgment and is preventing you from seeing the truth. What do you mean? In order to see what is really there, you need to reject biased assumptions and keep an open mind. You are overlooking certain facts precisely because you are the creator of this town. Nothing short of insanity. Magic doesn't exist, and yet a spell says she saw a fire dragon. Seems like a contradiction. Or perhaps it is not. Mr. Right. Yeah. The solution to this mystery is out there. We just need to find it. You suppose you know where it is? In the belfry. There's only one way to explain this contradiction. The spell saw somehow saw the dragon, but it wasn't a magical creature. And will you just tell us what it was? The event took place over 10 years ago. What she saw then should still be in the place where she saw. Should be in the place where she was at the time. It's still there. He sells seashells by the seashore. There we go. Yes, Your Honor. And that place is the Belfry. It's the Belfry. Oh my god. I should practice with more fucking tongue twisters and stuff. Over 10 years ago, the witness was standing somewhere around here when she saw a fire dragon. Yes. What did you say? Do the thing. Game? Come on.
Take that!
What? That was the thing though, wasn't it? Or not? Was it this? Oh, this is it. Well, whatever.
Take that!
This is... Oh, that's identical. Well... I think we can consider this mystery solved. I suggest we all head back to the court. I will explain everything there. Is that alright with you? Let's go back. I'm so bothered that the fucking court's mumbling is something played in reverse. Anyway, the Inquisition's investigation seems to have yielded some unexpected results, but can someone explain them to me? Witness, you said you were about 6 years old at the time of the incident. That's right. Did you say the moment see the moment the dragon appeared above town? Huh? No, I don't remember. I remember seeing it at some point. It was like a flash. The town was ablaze and this fiery beast was hovering above it. Then, when you noticed the dragon, the town was already engulfed by flames. Yeah. That information completes the picture. Miss Cannabella's statement has offered me an insight into the true story of the fire dragon. Over 10 years ago, Miss Cannabella was in the belfry, unconscious. What events led to this? Perhaps we will discover that in due course. When she awoke, the whole town was on fire. Having inhaled much smoke, she was still dazed. She was only vaguely aware of her surroundings when she looked up, alarmed by the scorching heat. Unable to stand, she was on her knees. And then she saw something she would remember her whole life. An inanimate object. Oh my god. The shape of a dragon against the backdrop of the town being swallowed up by flames became imprinted in her memory. That is the truth about the fire dragon. Thus, this is what I have deduced. It wasn't a monster? What? Miss Cannabella, the illustration you have drawn for us bears an uncanny resemblance to the fretwork in the belfry. You saw the dragon when you were confused, possibly mildly asphyxiated from the smoke. There was no magic and no magical beast. You believe a stranger but not your father. That's so typical of teenagers. You'd have listened to me. And now that all the mysteries have been unraveled, can we not end this trial and go home?
Objection.
As much as we'd all like to, I'm afraid it's still a bit too early for that. What else do you want? There's just one more problem I'd like to solve tonight. Miss Cannabella, we are certain that you were in the belfry when you saw the dragon. However, that creates a new question. How did you get there? Oh, I haven't thought of that. Yeah, neither. What? As expected of an ace attorney, Mr. Wright seems to have noticed the problem too, at last. In order to access the belfry, you need to use the bell tower mechanism. The mechanism can only be set in motion with the pendants. Indeed. Miss Cannabella, did you have your pendant with you at the time? Yes, I think I did. I always had it with me. But why did I have that pendant? I can't remember it at all. This pendant is not just for show, it's a key to the belfry. Why was she carrying it around? You must also not forget that one pendant does not suffice to operate the contraption. 2 of them are required. 2 pendants. Miss Cannabella, are you certain that you were alone in the belfry? No, I wasn't alone. I was there with a friend. What friend? Eve, where did you go after? The friend you mentioned, was it this cat? Yes, she's my best friend. We've always been together. Without Eve, I would have been so lonely. Ronery. That kitty's always appearing out of nowhere to keep Isabella company. Of course she does. After all, Bazella is always accompanied by a black cat. What you saw from the bell tower when you were little was so terrifying that even an adult would have been scared for life. Scarred for life. A town burnt in front of your eyes. You thought you saw a fire dragon. You see, your memories have been twisted by the horrors you saw. What do you mean? The dragon you saw wasn't real, and I suspect that the friend who was with you in the bell tower might not have been that cat. Mostly because cats don't live that long. Miss Cannabella, the pen needed to access the belfry is too large for a cat. Are you following? If Eve was with you, it would have been impossible for you to enter the belfry. Ah! Wait, Inquisitor, where is this all going? You have no right to tamper with my daughter's memories. You're right, of course. However, neither do you. Nor should you attempt to cover up the truth, Dick Byrne. Eve was my only friend. Think about that day again, Miss Cannabella. You went to the top of that bell tower with a friend who also had a pendant. Well then, why don't we have the defense present some evidence? Can you prove that someone was with Miss Cannabella in the belfry that day? If so, I'd very much like to see the evidence. What? Why me? I've had enough of this, Your Honor. Your Honor, you have no grounds to continue this trial. Well, we appear to have reached a dead end. There is nothing else for us to do. Please hold on, Your Honor. The defense does not have the necessary evidence, but someone else does. What do you mean? This time, the Inquisition will present its evidence. You son of a bitch! This is what you wanted from the very start, isn't it? Well, in that case, the Inquisition shall present evidence that somebody was with Miss Cannabella in the bell tower when she saw the fire dragon.
Have a look.
This is still great. Have a look. Proof. His photograph shows Miss Cannabella with a friend. Golly, this is the finest illustration I've ever seen. It's a photograph. It looks as if it were a reflection of the real world on paper. Tell me, who created this exquisite work of art? Well, Your Honor, I understand you are fascinated, but let us focus on what this picture shows. This picture was found in the Storyteller's Tower. Mr. Cannabella, we have taken the liberty of borrowing it for this trial. Enough to look away for a second and you already caused trouble. Professor, aren't photographs against the rules? I mean, this is supposed to be a medieval setting. Who gives a shit? What's important now is helping Miss Cannabella to grasp the truth. And in this case, the end justifies the means. Please take a close look at the two girls in this picture. Each of them is wearing a pendant. Why, that's so well. You know that one of those girls is Miss Cannabella, but then, who is the other one? Hughes, do you have an idea? Bella, are you okay? Doesn't look like she is. It's me, and the other girl is, I don't know. Ah! Your Honor, stop this trial. Stop it right now. Can't you see you're driving his Bella into insanity?
Objection.
Nah, man, we're just laying some cold hard truth on her, like totally owning her. If we turn away from the truth now, laying down some facts. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you know who it is, don't you? You know the identity of the only other person we have ever seen with fucking purple hair. Could you make it any more obvious, please?
Take that!
I'm thinking it's High Inquisitor Rocklaw. Cannot say I didn't have the slight suspicions about her, but oh my. Miss Cannabella, what do you say? Do you now remember the girl next to you in this picture? I was with Lady Edgelon. This is crazy talk. What are you basing this preposterous claim on?
Objection!
It's just your opinion, man. If you want evidence, I've got it. What? The definite proof that the girl in the picture is High Inquisitor Darklaw is... dependent, I guess?
Take that!
And this is the proof it was the High Inquisitor, the pendant needed for that contraption in the bell tower. I have Miss Darklaw's testimony here. She said this pendant was hers. And so, the other girl in the picture is definitely Miss Darklaw. I'm so disappointed they didn't do an Animorphs kind of thing. Eve, where are you going? I was expecting you, Miss Darklaw. I see that I was not mistaken about you. I trusted your ability to get this far. Where did you just appear from? Does your memory not serve you well, Your Honor? You know what I am. I can disappear at will anytime I wish to. So, storyteller, everything has worked out just as you had written. O revered creator of Labyrinthia. H-Law. The game is lagging. Miss Darklaw, did you enter the Belfry with Miss Cannabella when you were little? Yep, sure did. And you have memories of events from before 10 years ago? I certainly do. Lady Edgelon, you were with me. Your memories have been suppressed by that man. But I was with Eve. Eve, huh? Eve the Black Cat? Yeah, she was always been my dear friend. She was by my side on that day too. What a bizarre coincidence. Edgelon isn't my real name. What? And what is your real name? It's Eve. What? Whoever saw that comment? Ah! It can't be. That flashback, was it real? Edge, why are you doing this? Are you trying to undo everything I've accomplished in the past 10 years? No, you have already ruined everything yourself. What is it that you want? What I want? My aim is to make the truth known so that everything returns to how it should be. Edge, will you tell us what you remember of what happened back then, more than 10 years ago? Would be my pleasure. It was the day of the fire festival. For some reason I had fucking corn cobs as my hairstyle. Maybe they were gonna toast my hair on the fucking fire and eat it. It's true that the whole town burnt down that day. The fire consumed buildings and people, turning them into ashes. We were the only survivors. We stayed in the belfry while the world below us was being eaten up by hungry flames. The legendary fire is no fable. It happened here more than 10 years ago.
Objection!
There are no such things as magic and fire dragons, so how could a whole town be destroyed in just one night? That's something I'd like to know as well. Even if we assume the celebratory fires got out of control, surely the whole town wouldn't have perished like that. Now it all makes sense. That was the missing piece of this puzzle. What do you mean? You can imagine now what transpired that night. What happened in the belfry and what caused the legendary fire. We have all the clues we need. If the Inquisition has evidence to show us, I'd very much like to see it. What caused the fire?
Have a look.
The cause of the fire is in this belfry. It was the bell? That bell had been made by the natives and later sealed underground. It was called the Bell of Ruin. Bell of Ruin? Ah. By the way, why does this bell have such an ominous name? Could it be because it's made of pure silver? Exactly. Mr. Cannabella has told us earlier. Everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition. Condition makes people fall unconscious upon hearing the sound of a certain metal being struck. And that metal is pure silver. And we've been told the condition is brought about by drinking the groundwater. Indeed, that bell was also the reason why the original inhabitants of this area decided to forsake it. It seems that the Bell of Ruin caused a devastating disaster. That's a double downer. To those who have gained entry into the sanctum, heed our words. Must not ring the Bell of Ruin. I can't help but wonder what disaster this bell had caused. An enormous bell made of pure silver, and the locals with their peculiar condition. Not too hard to imagine what happened. It was probably the same calamity as the one that happened over 10 years ago. And that is, well, what disaster happened to this town before Labyrinthia was built. Ah! Now let us contemplate the following scenario. What would happen if the Bell of Ruin were sounded during the fire festival? Oh. Everyone who heard it will fall unconscious. As it was an annual festival, all the townspeople were assembled in the town square. Oh dear. Therefore, on the night of the fire festival over 10 years ago, all the residents instantly lost consciousness when the bell was struck. Oh no. Had it been even just slightly windy that day, the fires lit for the Great Witch Vizela would have gone out of control, and they would spread throughout the town with no one left to stop them. Because everyone was unconscious. Exactly. That also includes the two girls who were in the belfry. It's Bella and I. They were the closest to the source of the sound, so it was inevitable. When you recovered consciousness, it was already too late. The town had been swallowed by flames as if a fire dragon had come to burn it. That was a calamity that caused by the bell. Calamity. Say here that the cause of calamity is the Great Witch Vizela. At night, in this very town, Vizela was more than a mythical persona.
She's losing it again.
Only voice acting. Oh, spooky effects.
The Bell of Ruin. Vizela!
They should have thrown it into a vat of acetone. Or even better, King's Water. Also, we're not gonna finish this tonight, unfortunately. But we're for shizzle gonna finish it tomorrow. So yeah. I don't want to start the last chapter now because it's definitely gonna take longer than 20 minutes. So yeah. Dudes, I got a lecture tomorrow morning. I don't want to fucking be way too tired for that shit. I told you, man, it was gonna be really dumb. Did you get mad? Because if so, my prediction of you getting mad at this game being fucking dumb as shit was actually true. And I like it when my predictions come true. Usually. Alright. Boy. Yeah, so tomorrow, probably evening again, late evening time. We're gonna finish this off. And then, I don't know when, but at some point we're gonna move on to abduction. Right. Okay. Have a good night, and thanks for joining me again. See you tomorrow for the exciting conclusion, hopefully.